Yeah,
real
yeah.
attempts somehow.
Yeah, like
Okay.
they're not anything
Okay.
that would be considered like a real attempt kind of thing. People are just making like because you know like people that are pro Trump can get a little crazy.
Right, right.
Like well like any group of people really, but so it's, you know, sort of like those people making mountains out of molehills versus like the press downplaying it. It's so hard to know like what's true and what's not.
Yeah, it does make it tough. Get out of there. Come on, go side yard. Come on,
Yeah, let's go to the side yard.
come on, Tilly.
Oh, that brave man.
What happened?
One of the guys I watch is Tyler Tube or Tyler TV
Mm-hmm.
or something. He's like a redneck hit kind of guy that just tries random weird products or does like food tasting, just all sorts of random sort of trying it kind of things. You know, like is this saw faster than this saw? Is you know he did one where he's trying every single Pringles flavor. And I'm just
All
looking at
right.
the fucking mountain of chips that he's got in front of him and thinking, that's a lot of fucking chips. Even if you're only eating one or two from each one, that's a lot of fucking chips. You know, like, just
Yeah, Jesus, dude.
don't envy that guy watching that. I wouldn't want to eat that many chips.
Mm. I like Pringles and all, but yeah,
Yeah, no, I mean it doesn't matter what
not that
kind.
much.
It could be like the best kind or the worst kind. You know what I mean? Like at a certain point, it's like
Yeah,
there's only
yeah, it's
so
too
much
much.
physical room in your belly for like either the best kind or the worst kind. You know what I mean? Like at a certain point, it's like
Yeah,
there's only
yeah, it's
so
too
much
much. Did you
physical.
see anything about the Kamala Harris debate? Oh yeah, I guess you did. No, maybe not. On
Wait, what are you
Fox,
talking about?
or not debate. Sorry, the interview
Oh,
on Fox.
I've seen like that. There's videos that apparently she just absolutely just refused to answer. Basically, like didn't answer questions. It seems like.
Yeah, and not in a nice, like, not in a clever, like, politician kind of way, like in a very obvious sidestepping kind of way.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm gonna say stuff now, and it's gonna sound really useful and insightful, and it's gonna sound like I've thought it out really, really well. But what I'm definitely not gonna do is talk about any of the things that you just asked me. I'm gonna talk about something
Yeah.
else, sort of semi-quasically related. That's just gonna totally steer this
Hmm.
conversation in a weird direction. Like that thing? Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
they you know they don't say what they're doing while they're doing it.
Yeah, and it wasn't like the dude was going super hardcore at her, dude. I mean, he was definitely getting after it. But it's not like he was like these are questions she should have had fucking some answers to.
Yeah,
Although, the administration has been an unmitigated disaster, so maybe not. You kind of have to default to Orange Man bad. His fault.
yeah.
Biden administration, Trump's fault.
Yeah, it's
The entire Biden administration,
it's
all
Trump's
Trump's
fault.
fault.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing that kills me is that people are still acting like it's somehow not Biden and Kamala Harris's fault. The horrible, horrible things that have happened all 4 years of their stolen
Yeah.
presidency.
Yeah. Well, again, it really did seem for a while there like the strategy was no, just keep fucking up, so they'll forget about the fuck up that happened a week ago or a month ago. No, just keep coming up with new fuck ups,
Yeah,
and people forget all about how many people died and how fucking many billions of dollars in uh, um, military equipment got into the hands of the people in Afghanistan. Or wait, was it Afghanistan? Yeah, even I can't remember. Where did he fuck up? The Trump had the agreement, and then he came and fucked with the agreement. So the bad guys went back on it. It was Afghanistan, right?
um, I think it was
You see?
Afghanistan. 'Cause you're talking about like the way they left.
Yeah, Trump had they had a date in mind, and Biden thought it would be a good idea to change that date and change the agreement. Which I mean, I don't know much about that shit, but I would have been like, doesn't that give the other guys the right to just say "fuck you" then to the whole agreement?
Yeah, I would
And that's
imagine
kind of what
so.
happened. Yeah, that's
Like,
what
yeah,
happened.
if you
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it
renege on a
was.
big major parts of an agreement, then it's not an agreement anymore. You just broke it. But yeah,
Yeah,
there was like
yeah.
a plan in place that Trump had put in place to leave. Um, oh, was it
Yeah, by whatever
Afghanistan?
date.
I'm pretty sure
I
it was
feel like it was.
Afghanistan. Well, because
Yeah, I'm pretty
there
sure
was
it was.
two times that it happened. It wasn't just in Afghanistan; it was also in another place too.
Mm,
But the first one was Afghanistan,
yeah, yeah.
and it was essentially there was like a certain amount of time they were going to take. They were going to leave, and as they were leaving and withdrawing, other people would be taking over the bases and the military stuff that they had, accomplished in the leadership positions. And
Yeah,
it would have
yeah.
had,
From the official Afghanistani government or whatever
yeah,
people.
but it would
Yeah,
have made a lot more sense, and it would have allowed time for the Afghani government of people to basically take over all the military positions and have trained people in place ready to deal with whatever was coming. Because, like, they knew, you got to know, right? Like,
yeah.
you got to know that
Who's getting
that's
out of there?
the second you leave, the evil people are going to try to fucking come in and take over.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's why it doesn't just like they didn't just say, "All right, we're out tomorrow." That's why they,
Yeah.
brokered a date and all that shit. Yeah. And Biden thought it was a good idea to just fucking change the deal, not bother telling or talking to the fucking anybody about it over there.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Taliban or whatever was like, well, fuck you then, and got I think it was like $80 million, 80 billion in like fucking like military equipment, like helicopters and fucking tanks and shit, like a crazy amount of shit, dude.
Yeah. Oh, it was nuts. Yeah. I don't know, man. There was
Yeah,
so much going on. It was crazy.
yeah. Well,
Um,
again, that's what I'm saying though.
and,
How
and
many
essentially they left
Biden
all
fuck
the
up?
people that had been helping our government, that were like working with our government, were just left hanging. So those people all
Yeah,
got,
yeah. They're supposed to be able
brutally
to get
murdered.
taken over.
They
Yeah,
got
yeah. They're
brutally,
supposed to be able to get
brutally
citizenship.
murdered. These people that we were like, oh no, if you help us out, we're gonna protect you. We're gonna take care of you.
Yeah, we'll bring you
Uh,
over to the U.S. Like that's usually how it goes.
yeah, exactly
They'll
that kind
get
of thing.
citizenship.
Or your government's gonna be here to be able to protect you. Like your government's gonna be in charge. It's not gonna be,
Yeah,
um,
the Taliban.
yeah,
Yeah, see, even that, like, it's fuzzy on everybody's fuzzy on the details because there's been like 30 fuck ups since then by the Biden administration. So it almost seemed strategic. I mean, it wasn't. I think he's just incompetent and old and fucking senile. But you almost want to be like, wow, okay, yeah, they only remember the last couple
yeah.
colossal fuck ups.
Yeah,
And
that
of
whole
course, the
thing
media
was
doesn't.
just that whole thing was
Yeah,
just
the media
so
doesn't
fucked
play any of
up.
that shit up because again, this.
I mean, the people
Yeah,
were so
I mean,
desperate
even
they were throwing their babies at barbed wire fences, trying to get them over the barbed wire fences. It's like,
yeah, it's fucking yeah, disturbing
yeah, the
how
whole thing
fucked up
was
they got.
really fucking
Yeah,
disturbing.
yeah, and dude, that's the thing is like even in my head, like I have to remind myself.
Well, and that's been the
Uh,
Democrats forever. They've always, promised things to military groups.
Hey there. How's it going? Stay frosty.
But like
yeah,
they do that all the time. They promise things to like our veterans. They promise things to our allies, and our enemies, all sorts of things like that. And then what they do is absolutely nothing.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
it's
It's pretty
like,
much yeah. Yeah, and again, I kind of forget because again, the whole administration has been just a fucking disaster, dude.
yeah.
Beyond the fuck ups, the insane amount of inflation,
Oh, yeah,
all this
insane.
shit.
Well, the energy costs being extremely rising extremely because uh, uh what do you call it? God damn it! Why? Oh, because they're forcing all those subsidies of green energy. So all the money that's being made off of all our like fossil fuels and stuff is going and being sucked into green energy. So the green energy is like lowered falsely. So the market is making regular energy more expensive because all these places are going green because they're getting paid to through the money that was made off of the. It's like a weird cycle that ends up making energy just way more expensive for people.
Yeah. I remember when he, right before, I think it was the midterm elections a couple years ago, Biden decides to dip into the strategic oil reserves so he can lower the prices right before voting day. And then out of what he took out, he sold $1 billion worth of it to China. So that was another thing that I had completely forgot about till just now.
Man,
so yeah,
I don't
again,
know what we how is this supposed to work? You know, like if our own government's working against us like constantly, and it's not like like they're like intentionally working against us. So
yeah,
much
I don't know.
as like
they're not working for us; they're working for themselves.
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
not really working against us.
that's actually a good way of putting it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing, because again, even I kind of forget how fucking, like, disastrous this shit's been, because obviously the media doesn't point it out, you know, so you kind of forget about it. But it's been just disaster after disaster. Like, it's been fucking, we're way worse off, you know, 4 years later.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, people are like, living, like, the homeless encampments are growing. It's like...
But yeah, nobody really talks about it. Everybody kind of gets distracted by the next thing. But yeah, it's been, again, a historically just disastrous president.
Yep. You're trying to fucking... You're going to own nothing, you're going to eat bugs, and you're going to be happy to do it.
Yeah.
That's what it fucking comes down to, right? It all fucking ends up boiling down to you own nothing. You can, like, cause like, I mean, do you have your homeless plan in place? Cause I got mine, you know, like, like I you know, if or when, depending on how this fucking, you know, after everything goes, it's like, you know, I gotta, you know, live out of my fucking car, or like, you know, see if I can get a van or something, you know, like.
Everybody's being forced into either encampments or van life if you can swing it.
Yeah. Well, and you know, how they treat the people that they forced into living in vans is pretty crazy, too, because, like, you know, yeah, the dudes that were over next to the house where I work at were douchebags, and they were dumping trash, but it's like, where else did they have to put everything? I don't know. It's, you know... The whole situation was kind of like fucking crazy.
But yeah, no, the interview was pretty fucking nuts, dude. Because she was literally trying to ask her something about the, you know, her and Biden's administration, and she was just like, no, well, let's talk about the Trump administration, and he was like, she just refused, dude. It was fucking weird. She's such an unlikable cunt, dude. Yeah, I'm hoping even massive election fraud to not get this bitch elected.
I see, because I know there's gonna be a ton of election fraud, and I've accepted that part. You know what I mean? And so I'm hoping that there's.
Yeah, like I said, I thought they were doing it with Hillary, but just again underestimate how unpopular she was.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to do that with Kamala, because it seems like nobody likes this bitch, but she managed to make it all the way to vice president and presidential candidate for the Democratic Party, with nobody really liking her.
Yeah. Well, I mean, their other choice was Biden, right? Like, he wasn't going to stop. He was like, nah, I'm going to fucking be the president candidate no matter what.
Yeah. Until he finally got threatened by enough people, I guess.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah. I can't imagine it was his choice. I assume he's far enough gone that he just all he knows is he wants to keep being president.
Yeah,
or
the
his
whole
wife.
thing is
I assume his wife
crazy.
had a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
Wife was probably
he's not even there anymore. And honestly, like, let's be real, that dude's fucking, that guy's brain is fucking Swiss cheese.
Indeed. Yeah, so whoever was running shit, I have to think it was either Kamala or fucking Biden's wife. Both of them seemed pretty fucking unhinged.
Yeah. It's the bureaucrats. That's the scary part.
Yeah, probably not even either of those two, just the other people.
It's just a bunch of fucking little nobodies that nobody knows who they are. They're the only thing they care about is that they're getting, more money. It's just, they're literally everything they're doing is there to like fuck us over, and serve the rich, because that's ultimately what they really want. They just want to have money, more money for them.
Yeah.
More money for them. Because it's just all about what makes the businesses work, really.
Yeah. So, the Asmongold thing, he wasn't it just like a 14 day suspension or something? I thought he wasn't actually permanently banned. Do you remember what happened?
I don't know. I'm not really sure. I kind of didn't pay that much attention.
Yeah, I don't care all that much. Although it is kind of funny that he...
I mean, all he did was just tell the truth. Like, everything he did was, just be honest.
Right. Yeah, but he normally in the past would just duck that shit. So I'm wondering why he suddenly felt the need just to spout off.
Yeah, it is a weird choice. Like, why would you intentionally fucking give everybody your opinion on that, especially when your opinion is that controversial? I think there's a fairly good chance that there was people talking about how he was trying to be edgy.
Okay. I guess.
Like, cause there's a fairly good thing now about people are basically just trying to garner that sort of counterculture vote. Sorry, buddy, you gotta die. But that counterculture vote now, it's there's money in it, and as soon as there was money, it was of course they were gonna
try to get a piece of it.
Yeah, of course. There's always money to be had. Oh, this guy must have gotten banned and redid his names differently, because I recognize it.
What the fuck is this?
What is what?
There's a thing on my, not my subscription feed, but, the regular home feed where it'll kind of suggest shit that's not necessarily in your,
Oh yeah, you get some weird shit. I've been seeing this stuff about this fucking movie, so I put a little clip to it. The lady who's autistic, who's got the magic autism. Because reality autism does not make you fucking smarter. It does not make you fucking better than other people.
Yeah, that's fucking weird. It makes you socially awkward, and that's better, I guess.
Yeah, but it doesn't increase. You don't actually. What do you call it? It doesn't make you smarter. It just makes you dumber and incapable of social interaction. But it generally also makes your intelligence lower. You are average, lower than average. with autism by a substantial amount. So I've worked with people that are autistic. They're definitely not magical special geniuses that they know everything. Like, that's just not true. Like,
they're not even like they're trying to act like they're like savants or something. You know what I mean? Like the idiot savant, I guess is what they used to call it. Like Rain Man, where you're like, you drop a book of 250 matches and 246, and they're like, no, it's 250, and then they look and there's like 4 still in the box.
yeah.
So like you manage to count exactly how many as they fell. Yeah, like I don't think that's not autism, right?
No. Yeah, that whole thing, and she's like a cunt the whole time in almost every one of those things. She's like ridiculously rude and like that's not actually how people with autism are. Like, yeah, it takes them a while to learn how to like be that social interaction, but that doesn't mean they're like incapable of learning it eventually. Like, that's one of those things that really kind of gets on my nerves. It's like the sort of like magic fucking thing where they have to be like, it's acceptable for them to be horribly rude and inappropriate all the time. Like, that's not really how that works.
Yeah, it's not like they're totally incapable of learning.
Yeah, they're absolutely capable.
And if you're going to give them the fucking excuse to act like assholes, I mean, most people are going to continue to act like assholes. You know what I mean? If there's no repercussions, they're just allowed to do it.
Oh, you see that where I work all the time.
Indeed.
Yeah, like because like there's no real penalty for what happens when these people do things.
Right. Damn it, I accidentally refreshed because I was going to show it to you because there was something that was in the sponsored section, so I assume it was like paid advertising.
Oh, yeah?
It was something about pop culture news or something, but the girl in the picture looked like she was like 12. Like, there's no way she was an adult. And I'm like, why am I getting ads for some fucking kid? Spouting off about fucking anything, really. Like, I don't care if it's pop culture or anything else. I don't generally want to hear what kids have to say.
No, I don't.
So
I
thought
don't
that
give a
was
shit
weird.
what... Yeah, that is one of the most obnoxious trends lately, too. Is it somehow like some random ass small child fucking knows what I should be doing, like, politically?
Is that what it was?
Because, like, it started with that fucking Greta Thunberg or some shit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I figured out the trick is with fucking Charlie with movies. I just watch what he doesn't like, and I don't watch what he likes.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Does seem to be a pretty good way to go.
Yeah. Like, he brings to... I did not know about... I completely forgot about the Rick and Morty anime until I saw his review. So then I went and watched it and I enjoyed it. So it was like, oh, that works out perfectly for me. And I, a lot of his stuff is very entertaining, Charlie's. So I don't mind watching him like pontificate. Like, I don't insist that people share my taste. You know what I mean? Because like that's just never gonna happen. It'd just be weird if it did. If everybody was always into the same shit. It'd be kind of fucking boring.
He's in the. Yeah, for me, he's in that kind of group with Asmongold where I'm subscribed to them, but I only watch like maybe 1 out of 20 of the videos of theirs.
Oh yeah, I'm not watching everything Charlie's putting out. No. Dear sweet fucking God,
for the most part. Yeah, for the most part, I'm like, nah, I don't want to hear his take on that. Or you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, this might be interesting. That's about maybe 1 out of 10.
Yeah, I like to, on average, I like to look for stuff that I am not going to hear about from anyone else or like that I haven't heard about yet. Like, oh, this is something that I haven't heard about yet. Like, then it's like, okay, I'll listen to his. But if it's like something everybody's talking about, I want somebody else's opinion. His opinion is kind of fucking dumb.
Yeah, pretty, worse than worthless, really. It's kind of the opposite. Although I guess that makes it valuable. You know, if he likes something, then it probably sucks. And if he doesn't, it's probably good. So I guess it has, in a weird kind of way, it works kind of well.
Yep.
Oh, Jesus, no, get out of there.
Yeah.
Stop. Thing. I accidentally clicked on one of the YouTube games. No, motherfucker. All right.
Oh God.
Close it down.
The YouTube games, those are fucking terrible.
Yeah, I tried a couple, and I'm like, oh, okay, these suck.
Yeah, they're like, I saw somebody talking about them and was like, oh yeah, those are pretty awful. I don't know. I don't know how anybody thought like that would be like the way to go.
But yeah, no, that's. I think I played one, and then I'm like, okay, it takes forever to load, and then it sucks. It's really basic, whatever the fuck it is. It's a really, which makes sense, I guess, since you don't have to download it or whatever. But
Yeah, I would choose not to.
Yeah, it's an odd thing. I don't know why the fuck they thought that was a good idea. Like, the shorts thing kind of makes sense. That wasn't the worst idea ever. But yeah, the games thing. Like, you're on YouTube, why you're... Yeah, it's an odd... decision.
There's always a tough decision to make.
Alright. No, I hear you. Yeah. I'll say shit like that when I'm not paying attention to the other person too. I hear you, buddy.
You got me. I'm playing fucking Overwatch. I'm terrible. Try to unlock the battle pass. Get it all done. Nah. I want to be playing my fucking Conan because it's new season, but like anytime there's more than like fucking 3 people on a server, it's unfucking doable. Oh man, I'm ready to quit. This is like fucking. There's so many aimbots in this game right now. And it's not just Overwatch, by the way. All FPS games for the last, I think, 6 to 8 months have been having like a ridiculous influx of cheating.
Yeah, it's just impossible to get a straight game.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
No
It's fucking insane. It's almost every. It's at least every other match, and it's almost every match. Like, if that makes sense. Like I've literally run into, and I've run into many games where I'm playing against 2 or 3 out of 5 that are cheating. And it's really easy to tell. Like, a lot of people, I think, don't know what they're what to look for. Because there's a difference between somebody that's tracking you well and somebody who's tracking you dead center mass perfectly. You know what I mean? Like, somebody might have really good tracking and be able to put every round on you for like, you know, a fairly good amount of the time. That's totally normal. There's lots of people way better than me at that kind of shit. But when it's like the dead middle center mass of my body and like there's no way, like it's just not possible to be that accurate.
Yeah, a split second after they come around a corner and weren't looking at you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, they start tracking. The walls is probably the most common. As far as like they go, because if you can see who's coming around the wall, it's fairly easy to like, you know, just fucking lead the aim and be perfect. It's almost like having an aimbot.
Yeah. Yeah, if you know where they're at way before they.
Yeah, because like you can just have it set your reticle set right at the edge of the fucking wall where they're gonna come around, and then the second they come around, you know they're coming around, and then they'll just fucking boop.
Yeah.
And then you're dead. because, you know, they knew you were coming around that fucking corner.
Yeah, so weird. I still don't. I don't know how you get joy out of something like that.
To me, it seems pointless. Like, it really does.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't understand. Well, again, I guess we're not narcissistic enough, I guess, to convince our... Because I assume the people that do that shit actually think they're good because they're winning. Like, they can convince themselves that they're actually
Oh, yeah.
good. So, yeah, I don't have that in my head. I don't have that level. I don't have that ability. That level of self-delusion.
No, not at all. Well, and it's like I'm sure when, especially when you talk about hacking, this is the thing that everybody goes, "Oh, you just losing all your matches." I win like 3 out of 4, man. It's not about fucking when they don't, and then the hackers aren't always good players. You know what I mean? Like, it's legit. They're just not always. The plenty of times when it's like, oh no, they're just fucking terrible players, and you beat the shit out of them, like you just destroy their team in like every single round or whatever. It happens all the time. But yeah, it's just like, it's obnoxious. You know what I mean? Is ultimately what it is. Yeah. And if they're like a decent player with cheats, that's when you're like, yeah, you just don't have a chance, because like they already have like the benefit from like good positioning, and in some cases I've played against players who like. It's pretty clear they would have won either way, but they're still using like a toggle hack just to make their game like that much more likely to win each round. So I don't know. The whole thing is kind of
like they're good good already, and they're still using.
Yeah, and it's just kind of sad because you're like, well, you didn't even have to do anything. You would have won.
Yeah, it's a odd thing, dude. Yeah, it's weird when I can't remember if I had shared this with you or not, but there was some kid that had basically cheated his way to like a world record speed run on Halo, one of the Halo games, and then they were doing like a convention thing.
Yeah,
right?
Halo's gotta have a ton of fucking cheaters.
Yeah, but he hadn't gotten caught, so he gets invited to like a convention, like a charity event, if I remember correctly, and he showed up to do a run in person, and he was horrible at the game. Like, what shit? They gave him like, I think 2 hours or a little over 2 hours. It was supposed to be what the time it would take, and it took him like 8. So there were like people that like sat there, or some of them had to, I assume. Anyone else, I would just left. But yeah, like it was quite obvious that he had no fucking skill.
Yeah.
Or very little skill. Wasn't familiar with the exploits that he should have been familiar with, and you know, all that kind of shit.
Yeah, and then there's always the cheats that do the speed runs where it's like somebody else did the gameplay and they're just holding a controller and talking.
Yeah, they're just splicing together other runs, making it like they did it. Yeah, that happens a lot. Although there's usually ways to tell, like they usually get found out eventually, but this kid hadn't been found out. And he thought it was a good idea to show up and do a run in front of people. And I'm like, what goes through your fucking head? Why would you show up for that? I feel like, you know, you can come up with any fucking excuse, you know what I mean? For not going. But he decided to show up and try to play through the game in a speedrun format. So I don't understand that mentality.
Nope.
I just don't get it. Why would you do that? Yeah. Yeah, it was fucking nuts, man. So I'm wondering, in his head, did he think he was actually good because he technically had the world record by cheating?
Yeah, and then the thing is, like, sooner or later you end up losing out. Like it never lasts. Like the cheating never lasts. It's always gonna fail in the end somewhere. Yeah. No, there's ones that have gone a long time, but they do eventually get found out. Yeah, or they just don't understand the fucking what do you call it? You know, because what usually gets them caught is there's spots in a lot of games where like, well, if this happened earlier, then this would happen later.
and that's mismatched somehow during the run. Like, okay, if you get this guy here, then later on at this point, this will happen. And if it's the other way around, it would have a different result.
No,
So yeah, the people that do splices don't know that shit because they haven't really played the game or even watched other people do it, apparently. So yeah, that's the kind of shit that'll catch them a lot.
Yeah.
Or the insane luck kind of shit where you're just getting like 5 times in a row. Shit that should be like highly unlikely 5 times in a row happens.
Like there's a character who has he's a cowboy and he shoots a 6-shooter, right? So he's got like six rounds in his gun, and he has an ability called Fan the Hammer, which is you can click one of your other buttons and he just rapid fires all of them at the same time, but it's a big spread, so they don't all go the same direction. And somebody who gets like fucking 6 hits in a row with that from a distance, they're really fucking obviously cheating. And you see that shit where people will be like halfway across the map getting like 6 fucking headshots with that thing, and you're like, dude, now everybody knows you're hacking. Like, why would you even, like, that's so dumb. Why would you not turn it off for that?
Yeah, I
think
most
they'll turn it up so high sometimes. I was playing, I want to say Halo Reach when it was a popular game. And, fucking, there was one match where we were playing around, and it was just, I think it was just me. My brother usually used to play with me at the time, but like he wasn't playing with me. It was just me. And our whole team just kept dying immediately upon spawning. So like you'd spawn in and you just immediately die, like the very second you spawned in. And it wasn't even spawn camping, because like you'd see the kill cam, the guy wasn't even on your kill cam. So wherever he was, they couldn't, like he couldn't be shot by any of us. He wasn't anywhere near us. He was just standing, spin botting somewhere like random on the map and just spamming the trigger and just shooting his gun, so that the second we spawned in, the bullets were already homing in. It was like, and I was telling the other guy on the other 3 guys on the team, I'm like, okay, well, you're just gonna have to go down and select this and that and the other thing, because it was like 2 kids and their dad were playing together as a 3-person team, and it stuck me on as the 4th out of, like, because it was 4v4, and I had to explain them, like, walk them through like the reporting process, because they were like, this is horrible, and I'm like, well, you're gonna run into this, and when you do, you got to report them. They're hacking. It's an aimbot, and here's where you do it, and all that kind of shit. And the guy was going, I'm not hacking. You guys are fucking liars. I'm not cheating. We're like, right.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even believable. No. It was like, I've played against people that were cheating, and it was way less obvious than this.
Like,
your settings turned up way too high, son.
Yeah, I know the difference between somebody that's fucking amazing at the game and somebody that's quite obviously cheating.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was bad, dude. Oh man, that was pretty funny. But yeah, that's just one of those things that's like sad now. But I guess it's like a big thing with all the FPS games, because like it's hitting like Apex and Call of Duty and Fortnite, and they're all having real issues with it right now. So I guess if you have problems in your FPS game, it's because it's a popular game.
Yeah, it seems like it's
women
inevitable.
that hate men the most look the most like men?
Especially since the developers don't seem to give a shit.
Yeah.
Because they're probably in on it. They're probably getting a cut of it.
It wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me if a lot of these lawsuits ended with them getting a cut of the profit and then walking away. Yeah, I think he had to make like an apology too, Asman, come to think of it. Because the guy was talking about that, and he was saying the guy should have said, fuck you, I'm not apologizing.
Right. Yeah, because that was the thing. The people that would, be mad at him for it are still going to be mad. And then the people that were okay with what he was saying are now also going to be mad. It's really lose-lose. An apology nowadays,
Oh yeah, no,
especially.
you never apologize. Oh,
Yeah,
did you
yeah,
see
that's
that
like
Anna Kasparian leaves the left? Speaking of apologies,
yeah.
everybody's like,
Yeah, but that's
"Oh,
cool.
she's right wing," but she's not. She's still just as left wing.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah, she's just not as loony as the people she was running with. Sounds like,
yeah,
yeah. Is that pretty accurate?
yeah, she's just not quite as crazy anymore. She's like, "I'm not going to be part of the what you call it." The in crowd anymore. I'm not gonna be part of the in crowd of people, and I'm not gonna get onto the really weird fringe shit. Because she used to apparently
Yeah,
like have problems with the fringe stuff. Um,
yeah.
like I guess
Well,
one of
no,
the
because she
things
was.
she didn't like that they used to do was the spots on Karens, where like some Karen
Oh,
would be like a viral clip going around, and they would like make a big deal out of it and like poster video all their fans and stuff. And she was like, "This we don't know
yeah.
everything that happened. That might have just been a one-time shitty day for that person. It's not cool for us to ruin their life just because it's fucking entertaining to you." And I'm like, "That's fair. Like, I don't necessarily agree, but it's a fair point to make, and it's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
coming from a good
Not a shitty
place."
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's ironic because when you look at like how that's going, that's definitely something that started on their side, naming and
Oh, yeah.
shaming and trying to
Yeah.
destroy lives. So don't look at us when you're talking about that, because it's really not the right wing that does that one.
Yeah, not nowadays. It used to be. Nowadays, it's very much a trait of the left, or more so. Yeah, I think I think she was genuine though. I think she genuinely didn't realize until I think the Rittenhouse trial was the first one that kind of got that fucking into her head that, oh wow, maybe all this shit is bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she kind of talked about it. Yeah, because I've heard her talk about that shit pretty regularly. And yeah, it seems like over the last I don't know 6 months or so. Yeah, she's definitely been giving the indication that she's just not going along with shit automatically like she used to, which is nice. But yeah, she's still a lefty fucking loony. Yeah. Didn't she get like fucking? Didn't she get like robbed at gunpoint or something?
Don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh no, she didn't get robbed at gunpoint. Okay, you're talking about the sexual assault. So what happened was she was out walking her dog or something, and this fucking dude came up and started like grinding on her.
Oh wow, Jesus, dude, what the fuck? So she was like, oh, maybe was it like a homeless guy or something?
Yeah, this guy was like a homeless dude.
Like, oh, maybe these people are fucked up.
Yeah.
So that arc's been going on. It's been talked about, over the last, I don't know, year or so. But again, she's just like less unreasonable. It's like everybody's thinking like, like you said, like she's super right wing now. Like, that's not what happened.
She's just staying away from the fringe weird shit, like murder babies right after they're born, kind of nonsense.
Yeah. Have you heard of a guy named President Sunday?
President Sunday?
That's the name of the channel?
No, I've not heard of President Sunday.
Okay. Yeah, he seems like I haven't really gotten a beat on him other than he seems to hate other lefties, but I think he's a lefty too. He came on with goddamn, what was it? It was some of that shit with the commentary crowd like a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, this guy seems all right. So I was watching him, and yeah, like I said, I don't necessarily agree with all of them, but he seems genuine at least. Like it doesn't seem like he's what do you call it? Just catering to his crowd. Because he seems to despise people like Vaush and Destiny and Hassan and all them.
That's none of that. Yeah, that's a pretty reasonable place to take. I would.
Yeah, those people are pretty fucking awful. But yeah, I don't know. He seems okay as far as that type of as far as lefties go. He seems actually fairly reasonable. But I have just become aware of him, so I've only watched a few of his videos. He's definitely, because I don't know. He had a debate with Vegan Gains, and I think he's more pro-Palestine, so that's kind of a shot against him.
Oh, I was about to say it'd be pretty hard to try to like be more dumb than Vegan Gains. That would be. How do you lose that? Because you have to win that debate, right? Like, I don't know if this guy won it or not, but like you have to win that debate regardless. You shouldn't even matter what you're debating at that point.
Yeah, I don't know why you'd bother. It seems very odd. It's fucking he's nuts. So yeah, there's no winning because of course you win, and if you lose, like it's another lose situation. Like of course you beat Vegan Games. He's a fucking idiot. He's a lunatic. He's fucking insane.
It's like that lady who was like, now
like,
picture kids for whatever. What was it like? Now picture the kids licking barbecue sauce off of some stranger's fingers or something. Do you remember that? Like it was like she made this weird like unnecessarily sexual thing out of like.
What was that, the vegan teacher or something like that?
Yeah, the vegan something or other. It was definitely like crazy. Like what the fuck?
Yeah. Right now, I don't even might not be as crazy as that bitch. That bitch was fucking gone, dude. You're like, what the fuck? Yeah, I remember watching it because I think I sent it to you. I'm like, you gotta watch this, dude. But there's a big swerve coming, so be ready for it.
Yeah. You told me about that. Even knowing that was coming, I was like,
yeah, I was like, I guarantee you, it's not what you're gonna think. Whatever you're gonna be thinking. And she just does. I remember it being so matter of fact. She said it so matter of factly, dude. I was like, holy fuck, that's amazing. Like I'm not being crazy or anything, and then all of a sudden, then you're like, what the fuck? How did we just jump to that?
What is your definition of crazy? Because you sound pretty fucking nuts to me.
Oh man, I can't even remember what it was. It was something like something to do with kids, right? Like
it was something to do with what was it? Like it was some sort of fucking like sugar or something. It was some dumb shit.
Yeah, and then it magically morphed into like eating kids or something.
No, she tried to like I think it was to try to like make it sound like you were being super abusive to children when you weren't.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh, this guy's turned on a fucking aimbot. That sucks.
Yeah, like feeding your kids meat is like fucking the same as molesting them or something.
Yeah, essentially it was trying to compare like, what do you call it? Like pretty basic shit with like.
Yeah, making a kid suck an adult's dick or something like that. Like, was it something weird like that? I think I blocked it out. Whatever it was, I think I blocked it out in my memory.
Yeah, it was such a weird one. It was such a weird fucking like thing because it didn't make any sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I just remember her being like kind of crazy, but like still within the realms of normalcy. And then just all of a sudden, hold on, now I gotta know. Now it's bugging me. Let's see if I can find out. Vegan teacher. Is it that vegan teacher? Yeah, this was the bitch. Oh yeah. Dude, yeah. Gross. Oh, here we are. Canadian social media. No, come on, what's the controversy? Now it's gonna bug me. Damn it! Now I remember what she looked like. Because she looks like a withered old librarian.
Yeah.
Alright, Wikipedia, what do you got? Skip right to the controversial shit. Why did I go to Wikipedia? Accusations of racism and homophobia. Interesting. Damn it. Personal life and views? No. No, this is not the spot. Oh, Jesus. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay. One of them was that she did some kind of anagram for the nigger. Do you remember that? That was her. Like what each letter across the poem.
That's an anagram you want to be fucking known for.
Yeah. What the fuck? Ban cruelty instead of word. Yeah. Then apparently she made a sexual joke towards a kid that was like 16 online. All right. Whoa. And then when she found out he was 16, she said that's a college-age student. Wow, this bitch really is that fucking nuts. Alright, that's not helping. That's 3 years ago. Ah, come on. Alright, that's not helping. Whatever the damn it, there was a Reddit thread. I think it's been deleted.
Oh, boy.
Hey.
Do I hear?
Yeah,
Do I hear the sound? Do I hear the sounds of some sort of Vitcha game?
Bitch,
Something
game
like that.
going, yeah. There's a
It's
video game going.
like an Overwatch or something.
Yep.
Is that what you're playing? It's hard to tell because it's not on stream.
I know. I'm just.
There's no noise at all?
No,
No. Oh.
I hear. There's no video. I hear noises. So I'm watching this, and you guys
his
weren't
surgery
talking.
must
So
have gone good. Nice.
what? Who's surgery?
Oh, somebody I know in VR chat was getting a surgery today. It wasn't a major one, but they're already posting shit, so they must be doing all right.
No, okay. Well, that's good. Good to hear.
Yeah, Samaj, we were talking about one of your fellow countrymen, that vegan teacher. You remember her?
Who?
The one who was trying to compare eating sugar to molesting children. Like if you were feeding your kids sugar, it was like you were molesting them.
I don't recall
Yeah,
hearing about this.
yeah.
But okay.
Okay. Yeah, she's nuts. This was from a few years. That's understandable. I can't remember exactly what it was either. Yeah, but it was some crazy shit where she's talking, because I remember sending it to Stabby when it happened, or posting it in the Discord or whatever, because she's talking pretty matter-of-factly, and then she just busts out this fucking crazy shit out of left field. You're like, what the fuck just happened? So, yeah, fucking trying to remember exactly what it was, but I can't seem to figure it out.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, she definitely. Let's see, compared. What the hell did that just say? Damn it, no, back out. Where was Basically, like the animal. Totally reasonable.
Yeah, no, I
Thing to
mean,
say.
like, if you feed your kids sugar, that's normal. Like, people give their kids, like, candy or ice cream once in a while. Like, obviously, you're not, you're not doing it, like, literally every fucking day, giving them, like, fucking buckets and buckets of fucking sugar. That's different. That's pretty fucking unhealthy for your kids, but that's more
No, that's
akin
the
to,
same,
like,
man.
abuse than sexual molestation. That's the part that makes it weird.
Yeah, the comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah, the comparison's
It's the same.
pretty. Yeah, the comparison's pretty bad. I will say, I mean, yeah, maybe like limit the sugar stuff, considering because I've been looking into some of the chemicals they put into making these things. Yeah, a lot of sugary stuff out there is worse than when I was a kid. So I it's hard to say what to feed them.
I always wonder why I'm sure I knew this at some point, but why is it always high fruit corn syrup they use for everything instead of
Because
cane
it's
sugar?
cheaper.
Is that all it is?
Well, at the time when they were using it, the argument was that it's less sweet and healthier for kids than anything else, and
Yeah.
really it is just because it's cheaper. But it's really not that great. And also like if you were to eat or drink a soda outside of the U.S., like I don't know about here in Canada, but I'm pretty sure ours is the same as your guys's. But like if you were to go to the UK, they actually use like cane sugar because they made like artificial sugars illegal. You can't use them in other countries. They use them into America, and a lot of the sugars that you get out there, they're not actually chocolate. Like some of them will say like maybe it's real
yeah.
cocoa. Like
There's a lot of like chocolate and something flavored something,
Well,
like
what they're saying is that cocoa was one of many ingredients they put into making it this chocolate bar. It doesn't mean it's entirely made out of that. Even the actual cocoa powder that you can use to make your own homemade hot chocolate, even that's not all there.
Yeah, no, there's ones that they actually, stores here will actually import from Mexico. They'll have Pepsi or Coke or whatever because they use actual cane sugar instead of the high fructose corn syrup. And it definitely tastes different. You can cane sugar is definitely inferior. But yeah,
cane
and
sugar's
also I
way
remember
better
the
tasting.
cereal.
It's also way better
Yeah, yeah,
for
oh,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, it's also way better for
Yeah, it's better all around. I did notice the cereals though. Like I would get like frosted
you. Oh,
and way less sugary than ours.
when you
Than our pots
talk about the cereal, that reminded me of this thing I saw. I did not know this, but apparently, pre-1996, Honey Nut Cheerios had almond flour in it, and that's why it was Honey Nut. There was honey, and then there was almond flour, so it was Honey Nut. Now,
Gotcha.
Almond flour is too expensive post 1996, and so they started replacing the almonds with like apricot and peach pits, ground up
Wow.
apricot and peach pits, which also contain like
They have,
poison, but it's a
arsenic?
really tiny amount of poison, so it's considered
Yeah, it's arsenic,
acceptable.
right?
Yeah, but it's considered acceptable because you're not going to eat too much cereal. It's not going to ever affect you. But it's still kind of
that's
fucking
sweet.
disgusting, right? Like it's like if you know that,
Yeah.
like I'm never buying Honey Nut Cheerios again,
Damn it, I like that fucking cereal, dude. But yeah,
right?
Yeah,
And it's
me
like I'm
neither. I
done.
did
I'm not
know
going to
that.
eat something that has arsenic in it. That's a terrible fucking plan,
Yeah.
even if it's a tiny amount of arsenic. It's like you
Well,
don't eat the
yeah.
seeds of a fucking apple, even though they won't kill you. You still
Well-
don't eat them because there's fucking cyanide in them, like,
And one of the ingredients that they also recently added into sugary cereals is I can't remember what it was called. It started with an N, but it's designed. It's marketed as something that they add in to increase the crunch. But really, what it is, it's ground up bugs. It's literally
fucking, you will eat bugs, you will enjoy it, son of a bitch.
exactly. So,
I
but
haven't had a bowl
like
of cereal in fucking, I don't know, a
it's-
couple of years at least.
it's another thing that they add to pad it out, so that way it's monumentally not healthy for you. So you're
Well,
all.
honestly, though, I would wonder if it's bugs, is that just making it higher protein and lower carb? That might not necessarily be the worst thing.
Well, it is because bug protein uh, doesn't bode well for the internal guts of the human. Like some proteins are good, but bug protein offers no
Really, though?
benefit.
Because I know, like, there's a lot of cultures who eat bugs and have eaten bugs for, like,
Yeah, but they eat those because
centuries.
they don't have many options. If you
Yeah.
give them an option of a steak
Well, what it
or a
makes me
bug
wonder,
burger,
though, is well, either is there one of two things? Is it something you can adapt to eventually over time, so that your gut biome can handle it, or is it
so
maybe
far
there a genetic thing where, like, if you're one of these particular genetic groups of people that have been eating bugs for like thousands of years, it actually doesn't fuck your gut up or something? Like, I wonder. Like, I don't know if the answer is no or yes to either of those. I'm sure nobody does.
the answer is no. If you go to cultures that eat them, they often have a lot more internal parasites, a lot more, and then this
Well,
could
is
be just
that
those.
poverty or is that the bugs?
It's the bugs because when it comes to bugs, they also have parasites, but they're microscopic ones, and
True, yeah,
no
like
one
fish have parasites. You got to be really, really careful
exactly.
with how you
But the,
prepare
pro-
fish.
but the problem is that the parasites that come onto bugs are particularly small to the point where we really don't have any method to filter them out. We can grind them, we can gut them, we can boil them, we can do everything we can. They still survive because they're designed to do that because they have to live on bugs. They're extra resilient, and when they get into us, they cause all kinds of problems with our gut health, our immune system. In fact, I mean, it's also linked to the lowering of testosterone in men. And if you've noticed in a real study, testosterone in men, by and large, is going down, down, down. And
I thought that was
it
soy being added to so much stuff more than
no,
anything else.
that's a well that was also brought up because a lot of soy product gets added to stuff, but no, soy actually isn't that bad for you. But everything else they're putting in there, from chocolate bars to cereals to pasta to bread, they're all adding this bug flour protein to pretty much everything as a preservative and also as a way to add to the volume of things. And what it is it's transferring all these microparasites into our gut biome and all that, and it's causing a lot of problems. One of which is weight gain, one of which is fatigue. Also, it can be led to things like arthritis, fibromyalgia. A lot of things are added to all of this, and confound it all with also like lots of fluoride that gets added to a lot of things that also has a lot of problems. So we're being hit with a lot all at
Yeah.
once, and it's pretty much causing a lot of problems like physically for a lot of people. So,
And what's the
in
answer,
other
though?
words,
Like, you can't really realistically grow all your own food.
you're right. We are
And,
dependent
and
on.
here's the question. Are there flowers that don't add that, or is it on the labels?
Well, I would say by and large, try to avoid all things with flour. Now, some things you can't do, like if you're on a keto diet or whatever else. I mean, you can try like an almond flour, try that kind of stuff. But it's so hard in the processed foods are pretty much guaranteed to have it. In other words, it just means that you need to cook more of your foods. Don't get pre-made stuff like chicken nuggets or something like that. Don't never get chicken nuggets. Um, but just make your own food, cook it, fry it, whatever else. Just home cook everything. It's not guaranteed, but it will lessen it. That's all I can really say. And filter your water. Like, don't just get like a Brita filter. They have other filters you can get, but they're a little bit more expensive. But they will filter all that fluoride out. Avoid canned drinks like pops and sodas because they're made with like almost more fluoride than anything else, and that'll just make you tired.
Oh, I don't drink any soda. Yeah, I only drink the sparkling waters, where it's just the flavor and the sparkling water.
Anything bottled water I wouldn't do. Just bring your own water. Get it from home.
Oh yeah, no, we filter our water. Yeah, we have a thing in our fridge that filters our water, and we just drink filtered water.
And the other thing I would also recommend is get two things. You can either get like a glass water bottle. They sell them at Walmart. And a lot of people always hear glass, but it's a thicker, stronger, sturdier stuff. I've had it
What
for
is
years.
the Nalgene not good anymore?
The what?
Nalgene?
Nalgene?
The Nalgene. It's the plastic that doesn't have the BPA's in it.
Oh, all plastics are bad. And the reason is that over time things break down, and all plastics will break down a little bit, and that's how you get microplastics into your system. and those cause blood clots and all the other kinds of stuff, which also lowers your the blood flow within your body. So, yeah. So I
Oh
would say,
yeah.
yeah. So you want to lessen microplastics. So get a plastic or not plastic. Get a glass water bottle. They sell them at Walmart. Go on Amazon. But the other thing, if you really want to help yourself, that little extra step, get a copper water bottle. And the reason being is that copper is a conductive something. I can't remember what the science was on it, but essentially, it'll help filter out any like metals that come from your faucet and everything. It'll help with
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. And when you have to clean it,
Well,
use
getting
a
the right
salt.
kind of water filter has always been a tricky thing because there's always like the fucking there's like hippie shit that they sell that's always nonsense, and then
Yep.
there's like techie stuff that's usually also nonsense. It's tough to find like actual decent
So
filters.
I'll have to relook it up. There's a particular water filter that's pretty good for filtering out. And it uses a three filtration system. One being, of course, like charcoal. Another one being like a type of sand filter, and I forget what the other one is. So it filters water through three separate filtrations, and it should get rid of pretty much all of it. The only thing is that it's like a $200 water filter, and it's like not everyone can afford that, obviously. So, and the Brita filters, well, they're great and all, but they're all put in through plastic. So like there's no glass Brita filters. So I mean, you're still gonna get some microplastics through that. So you're kind of on a lose-lose. So you just have to do the best you can with what you can. I mean, this is also why I listen to RFK Jr. He'll talk about this kind of stuff as well. He's like the only politician talking about it, and love him or hate him, at least for the health benefits alone. Because if he makes good on that part at least, I mean he's worth it. Yeah, get rid of the fluoride in the water, lessen the microplastics throughout everything else. Also, milk, unfortunately, because of how they're filtering it, they're adding aspartame to milk, which I think is ridiculous. It makes it extra a little sweeter and a little bit more refreshing, if you will. But it's essentially it's like drinking a diet soda. So like milk is getting fucked up as well. Anyway, that's my little rant there. Yeah, get a copper water bottle, and if you have to drink anything canned, put it into like a copper cup if you can get one. I say if you can get one because they tend to sell out pretty fast. Oddly enough, I think it's because
copper is like a big thing in candy making for the reason of it being non-reactive with everything.
Yeah, well, and like I think there's more and more people who are like me, conspiracy theorists. Because I keep hearing more and more people like getting all this. Like when I was looking up for getting like a copper mug off of Amazon, they were like always sold out, or there was like smaller cups that I could get. The cup I have now, the only reason I have this one is because I saw it at Goodwill when I walked by. So, and it's my favorite mug in the world. It holds an entire energy drink if I needed to put one in here.
Yeah. There's always new shit you gotta fucking buy, man. It drives me nuts.
Well, I mean, certain things have been in our food supply and our water supply longer than they should have. And I'm a bit surprised.
I mean, well, you think we got it bad. You seen the thing about China and the petroleum and shit, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Where it's literally like fucking it's like they were using the same tankers to store like cooking oil as they were storing like motor oil and shit.
Yep.
And it's like, holy crap, like that's not good. So yeah, there's a lot of fucking a lot of shit that I wouldn't want to fucking have to deal with.
Yeah, I look to China and think it's only a matter of time before this place collapses. Just gotta wait. Run out the clock.
Yep.
I think that's why China tries to buy so much influence. Politicians around the world.
Well,
They know that's going to go down.
One of the highest generals in China published a book called Unrestricted Warfare, essentially publishing and saying that in a head-to-head battle with anyone, like let's say America, essentially said he said like there's not a chance in hell, even if weakened, America will still win any battle. So if you want to win any kind of war, you have to do it through unconventional means, i.e., economically, influentially. This is where they buy off their various different politicians and corporations and whatnot, and they definitely promote things like feminism, because we find out that like a lot of these programs in colleges and universities are paid for by China, because like the feminist programming and all that kind of stuff. Because like if you think that your greatest partner, your husband or boyfriend, is potentially dangerous, are you really gonna spend time with him, or so it breaks down the relationship between men and women, and these programs still go on. I'm so surprised. Like, I've gone on a few dates and women in my area have just gone crazy, absolutely insane. They're like a different species of human.
The women have been getting some really fucking weird messaging.
Mm-hmm.
Like you always look for the bigger, better deal. You deserve to have basically anything with absolutely no work of any kind for your own. Yeah. It's not healthy stuff they've been teaching people. Like,
well,
you ever seen that clip from The Office? Pharrell's character, like, he fucked up, but it's like, okay, I want all the credit and none of the blame.
Yeah,
that seems to be the attitude.
I mean, and part of the other problem is that, like, and a lot of people who are like religiously minded have talked about like women are satanically driven right now because they want the 666. They want men that make six figures, have a six-pack, and be 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
Like those kind of guys are like the 1% of the population, and you want 1% of the population to find you attractive. And a lot of these women are not that attractive. They are.
Yeah, that's one of the things it's weird to me is how really unattractive some of these people are that are like have these really bizarre sort of like expectations of what is normal.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, they seem to be under the impression that because they can get guys, that they're a lot more attractive than they are, instead of just the fact that they have a pussy.
Yeah, well, and like any woman can get like a really hot guy, but those guys are just going to treat him like a one-night stand. They're not going to.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because they don't really care. They're not looking at like guys aren't looking at like is she the most attractive woman? They're looking at is she attractive enough and she'll suck my dick. That's all they're really looking at.
And sometimes women will lower their standards to the point where they just want one of the three, like maybe have a six-pack or be 6 feet tall. But I mean, even those guys will just treat it like not a big deal. Like one of my buddies, he's like 6 feet tall, and he tall guy, that kind of stuff. He doesn't really have that much of a problem finding a woman.
Yeah, if you're like 6 foot tall, you can probably get laid right now, even if you're like 600 pounds.
but he has a similar problem to me in that he can't find a woman that's remotely dateable. It's like, yeah, you want to hook up, that's one thing.
Yeah, but, even the people I'm friends with, I hear some of the stuff they say, and I'm like, what are you thinking? Like, that's just delusional.
Yep. And, a lot of this is one being education, two, like, a lot of them don't have their father in their life, or if they do, their fathers just don't want to get into trouble, so they'll just sort of agree to whatever they say. Because a lot of guys don't, like, a lot of us want to avoid conflict, because we just want to get on with our days. Like, and if we don't want to, like, have a battle, like, if you're a father, you don't really want to fight with your daughter every fucking day, because she's coming home with this nonsense about, like, gender norms and stuff. So it's a matter of figuring out what to do with yourself. So yeah, we have a lot of weak men who are also like scared to speak out, because like we live in a society. We live in a society like when you do speak out, you could get in trouble.
You could lose your job. You could lose your fucking friends, family could turn on you. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I mean, if you're, let's be honest here. If your wife is being a bitch, you can't just call her a bitch because then you're abusive. And then, yeah.
Even if she is,
Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes people gotta be put in their place. Like, I could do that with like my guy friends and all that because we know it's okay. Like, I can tell my buddy, shut the fuck up. And it's fine. We're not saying we want to be hateful, but for a lot of women, they can't tolerate that. And then what?
I told my ex to shut the fuck up plenty of times.
See, and there you go. That's
She never did, but I definitely said it. Never caused her to shut the fuck up, though. Quite the contrary.
Well, I got offended, got upset.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's always somebody.
Yeah. Yep. And that's the hard part. It's like, you want to say what's on your mind and you're feeling and all that stuff, but you could get a lot of shit happen to you if you do. That's just sad. But that's the world we live in, unfortunately.
Yep. It is the way it be.
How are things on your guys' side of the globe?
I mean, pretty abysmal.
Oh, really?
Well, there's nothing really going on for me right now other than like fire weather that's on a personal level. But like as far as the government and stuff, like we're kind of fucked.
Oh, with the government and all that? Yeah. You guys have an election coming up, although we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah.
You see that one?
Yeah, the person nobody seems to like is probably going to somehow magically.
Well, did you see that last undercover that James O'Keefe did?
Fuck, I heard about it. I don't think I actually.
Well, what ended up happening is they did an undercover with one of the high execs at Facebook, and the guy, and the guy basically made, we're trying to help the Democratic Party win. It's like, we're doing this kind of stuff. We're downgrading all this and promoting all this and Kamala. I thought wow, okay. So he's basically admitting it. Although it also sounds like
that still happens.
Yeah, well, I mean,
all these companies should be aware of what happens on, you know what I mean, on these blind dates, dude. And you're just running your mouth trying to get laid.
Well, I mean, that's just it. I mean, if a hot girl is interested in you, don't take it. But at the same time, it's like, when else are you gonna get an opportunity? It's like, but also if you're like a big higher up, because you're probably making six figures. I mean, you can get women. But my policy is like, don't talk about work. Like, I'll say what I do and maybe a few little things, but I would never say how much I'd make. Well, that stuff is.
On a date? Yeah, you never want to say that on the first date. That's weird. People ask that all the time.
Yeah, well, because for a lot of women, they want to know what to do. Because if you say I make six figures, well, then you're gonna get laid, that kind of stuff. But for a lot of women, that's I'll be honest with you. Even if I had a wife, I'm not telling them how much I'm making, because I don't want it to be about money. The relationship has to be about mutual care and all that. If money is ever a factor, if it's ever in their heads, it could be a problem. That's why it's like, I love you, but let me handle the money. Because I don't.
Do they
I
ask
just
that
don't.
straight out, or do they try to? They don't literally.
Oh, some of them do, or some of them will try to be a little bit more sly and make you all relaxed and all that. But my policy is to never say how much I make. Never.
It seems like they try to parse that out somehow.
They always will. Sometimes it's not. They don't do it on purpose. Sometimes it's just to make conversation. But sometimes they do it because they want to know where you are, financially. Because you have to remember, it's like...
I think if you're going to have a discussion on finances, it's got to be after you've been together or you're officially at a point where you're a couple and you're no longer just dating.
I would never even do that.
I mean, I'm talking somewhere in like you've been with somebody for like 3 months, 6 months, somewhere where it's a little more of a commitment. And I think it's natural at that point to start because women get pregnant and they can have kids, and there's the necessity of how are we going to take care of the kids if I do have a kid. I think that's a fair thing to be discussing. It's like that's a normal adult conversation to have, but it's not necessarily on like the first date. I think that's weird.
I'll be honest with you, not even if you're married, even if you had them. The reason being is that after 10 years with someone,
insane. I'm sorry.
The reason
that's just
it's absolutely insane.
Yeah,
that's
hold
on.
Fucking lunatic, man.
Let me tell
Not
you.
even when you're married.
No, never. The reason is because like after 10 years, should your partner decide to divorce you, be it no fault divorce or whatever else, they automatically get half of whatever it is you make, and probably even more from alimony to child support. In other words,
if you consider a relationship to be a battle instead of a partnership, well, you're going to lose it before you've even gotten that far, man.
Well, if you ever have an argument, you never know. Women are emotional, and they could be passive aggressive. And sometimes for you also have to remember, women have various different chemical things that happen, like hormones and whatnot, like after pregnancy or after they reach a certain age. So the person you're with now, it's not going to be the same person in, let's say, anywhere between 5 years or after they have a kid or 10 years down the road.
Everybody changes over time. That's
exactly.
a normal thing.
Exactly.
But if you approach relationships as a battle instead of a partnership, there's no reason to have one.
First of all,
period. Doesn't make sense.
First of all, hold on. The relationship should be about the relationship, caring for one another, being there for one another. Okay, that's what it should be. Money shouldn't be a factor at all. So not telling them should never be a problem. They shouldn't have to care how much you make, so long as you make them. As long as they have food on the table.
You're paying bills together and you're living in the same house. Like you have to have a discussion. Of finances.
As the man, that's your responsibility. She shouldn't have to care about money at all. That's not her responsibility.
I mean, that's just not realistic in this economy or our current culture.
I mean, yeah, things are different for sure. I mean, she'll have to go working, and sometimes it may have to be more of a partnership deal. I don't think that's healthy though, but I do think that it's probably not in their best interest because, like I said, things could change. Like at any point, it could be a battleground. I don't agree with it. I don't think it should. But if you look at divorces that happen, statistically, it happens more often than it should. Just don't tell them, and you'll be a lot happier, both of you. And not only that, don't need to know. You can do perfectly fine. Guys didn't tell their partners how much they made, like a long time ago when they stood the test of time. They were married longer. The average marriage is 7 years. So just don't put yourself in the risk, and they'll be happy for it, and so will you. Because it shouldn't be about money. That's all I'm saying.
But having that's just like a normal part of being in a relationship. I'm sorry, dude. That's crazy.
Okay, a normal part of a relationship is that a man has his roles, his responsibility. A woman has her roles and her responsibility. Your responsibility is the finances, because you have to go out there and make the money and deal with the bills. So then, why should she care about how much money you make? Why should she care about it? That's none of her responsibility. So then don't tell her. She doesn't need to know. Also, by the way, I see that you're playing Reaper. I fucking love Reaper, and that skin is amazing.
Oh, this is a crazy fucking game mode.
I haven't played Overwatch in years, and I kind of miss it.
It's like a special Halloween thing that has weird mutations and stuff in it.
Is that what? Because that wasn't there when I was playing it. So
This is a special skin for the event kind of thing.
And look at these. Oh my god, I missed this so much. Make me want to play it.
It's a fun game. I signed back in. It's free to play. Overwatch.
Is it free?
Yeah.
Is it free to play?
It does have the same thing that every game has had for the last 6 to 8 months, where a massive influx of aimbots and stuff.
Well, I can tolerate that because that's just been the game.
Yeah. But I mean, it's been a big influx for
Oh boy, you're getting me, man. Free to play. So okay, here's the thing. when Overwatch 2 happened, I thought it was like a separate game, and I just stopped playing Overwatch altogether.
It is a separate game in the sense that it's like they changed the team makeup from 6 players to 5 on a team. So there's only one tank for the team, and then 2 DPS and 2 what do you call it? 2 support. I want to call them healers, but I'm not. But like, I know they're not healers.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Like, if I was to turn on my Overwatch, would it say now downloading Overwatch 2 or something? Probably. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll play around with it later. We'll see.
It's probably worth playing.
Oh man, we'll see. I'll wait. I have other things I got work I gotta finish up. I'm trying to lessen my video game time because I got work to do. So I'll just play like a couple hours of World of Warcraft or something.
Nice.
Maybe the odd mobile game when I'm sitting on the toilet, but that's about it.
Yeah, I like Conan Exiles is like my Minecraft game.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I've been working on a comic that's got like some barbarians and stuff in it, and every time I post a picture somewhere, I got people commenting with like Conan the Barbarian quotes from the movie, and it's like line for line in the movie. Like, oh shit. I'm a bit worried that my character looks a little too much like Conan.
Conan
That's
is...
not the
PvP
spot.
is something that can be really frustrating with Conan.
Too many griefers.
Yeah, well, they're like...
What happened?
Because, like, they're fucking lunatics, man.
Yeah, there's some sick fucks, dude. Just because they can.
Like, what was it? We had people that pretended to be our friends in one of the rounds, like, or one of the worlds that we were on, one of the servers, just so that they could, like, raid our base, except the fact that we were, like, brand new players. So, like, they could have just raided our base and taken, like, where there's no point. Like, there's no need to play, like, this weird pretense of being friends with everybody. So it was kind of like, it was just such a waste of everybody's time. It was like, why do all this other weird shit when you're already so much more powerful and you can just take our shit? Like, it was unnecessary. And like, then there's also ones where, like, they'll try to make people into essentially slaves, where they, like, oh, what do they call it? They make you, like, farm stuff for them. Like, so you know, in order to, like, not be destroyed, you gotta provide them with X amount of, like, stone, X amount of, like, wood or something, or, like, gold bars or iron or something.
So you're essentially just producing. Or you're paying, what do you call it? You're tithing?
Yeah. Essentially, you're doing work for them.
Yeah. You're paying tribute so they don't completely wreck you.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll still have your base or whatever, but you know, you have to give them like a rent, protection.
Pay a fee. So like that's what it's like to live in my city right now. I got to pay a fee.
Like if you're in Aurora.
Well, in my neck of the woods, my city here, and the neighboring one is going to be implementing 15-minute city programs. That's going to be fun. You guys heard about those?
Oh, where everything's within 15 minutes?
Everything's within 15 minutes. If you leave the
yeah,
district,
those are fucking creepy.
yeah, well, my city's implementing it. We had the map got published, essentially saying that if you leave your district, you will have to pay like a carbon tax and all that.
Oh, fuck
You
that.
do-
That is the definition of fucking unconstitutional.
Well, they won't be able to do it for too long because, I mean, obviously it's against
Well,
law.
I don't know about your constitution. We have like the guaranteed freedom of movement here, so it's like,
Yeah, we have mobility rights. It's in our Bill of Rights and in our what is it, the Bill of Rights and the Charter that we have here. So we actually have it like listed in two different documents. So and that's one of the arguments that one of our founding fathers, who's still alive here in Canada, go figure, Brian Peckford, he was suing the government over the COVID restrictions, saying that in Canada we have mobility rights. And they implemented the restrictions, saying that you can't leave the province. I mean, you can't even go into certain homes or like businesses and all that. You can't go like visit your friends, and those were all there. And then it took a few years because he was suing, but yeah, it was deemed illegal. Now Brian Peckford, who still was suing because he's like, well, I mean, you still did restrict my travel, and I want compensation. Not Brian Peckford was one of the original guys who helped write our little constitution here. So he's like our founding father.
oh,
Or
yeah.
one of them. He's quite old, but he's been around for a while. But also ours is a lot younger and newer than your country. So ours was made in 1982, like 1 year before I was born. So yeah, I feel pretty old.
Oh, wow. That's a trip.
Yeah, that is a trip. Eh? It tells you to like certain things get developed later on. It's just that certain laws were never really implemented, and we never knew about different restrictions that could come about. So, but yeah, we have mobility rights here in Canada. So, eventually, people are going to be suing because obviously you can't do that. But I think the implementation that they're doing is that they think it's better to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission. Because if you ask for permission, you're pretty much never going to get it.
Yeah.
And once it's been implemented, it's very hard to get rid of. Like for instance, the 15-minute city program requires that like streetlights have cameras and stuff, so you can use facial recognition to know when people come and go from their districts, like kind of like what they have in China. And they want to implement all this stuff, and it's all very illegal. But even if it gets overturned, the equipment's already been set up. It's going to take us a few years, if at all, that we ever take down the equipment. So that's all that it is. It will be overturned eventually, but it's going to take time, and by the time that happens, all the cameras have already been set up. And even if they get ordered to take them down, it'll take them years before they ever get around to finishing it, even though setting up the cameras took only a couple of months. So, yeah, we have things set up already. So that's the insanity that we live in here in Canada. The other problem I have, so I don't drive. I take public transit. I am going to work on getting my driver's license at some point. But for right now, I'm taking public transit. Now, my city has implemented this thing called the ARC or something. It's a card that you have to tap to get it on buses. Now, it's an optional thing right now. So I'm just using like bus tickets or transit passes or whatever. And but now they're going to try and stop using those, so that way you have to use the ARC system, which I don't want to do. Yeah, because the ARC system, for one, cause I like doing this. If I put in my coins into there, I get the bus driver gives me a transfer, and I can ride. It'll last for like 30 minutes. I can go on any bus I want within that 30 minutes. After that, I have to pay for a new one. That's just how it works. Well, I actually like that system, but with the ARC system, I think it's either tied to your bank account or whatever, and you have to use it every single time you get on or off a bus. Like you have to use it to get on, then you have to tap to take it off. So that means you pay every single time. So I have to pay like $3 to get on, and so if I go on and off various different buses, I have to pay an extra $3, or do it again, and do it again, do it again. I don't like it. So that's why it might be inconvenient. I'll just go out and I'll buy the bus tickets at the local convenience store. But now I just found out today that they stopped printing those. So now I'm going to have to use coins to get on. So now I have to carry a coin purse with me to just. It's like $3.50 to get on. Like fucking Christ. So that's what I got to use to get on and off buses now. But we'll see for how long. They may even phase that out at some point. So, all right.
Man.
But the ARC system is just another way of tracking wherever you go.
Yeah, that's super fucking creepy. I don't like this idea of the government having some sort of right to know, like, where everyone is all the time. Like, why do they need to? It shouldn't matter.
Yeah, that's the Big Brother type shit. That's fucking creepy. Yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to end up those mass surveillance. They want to know what you're doing, where you're going, what you're thinking. I mean, they're already doing that for your social media account. I mean, various different, like if you use an iPhone, that's tracking everything you're doing. Samsung's pretty much doing the same thing. I mean, you can try and circumvent it by installing a different operating system, but I mean, that'll avoid your phone package, so you can't really use that. But that's just the world we live in. At least for now, anyway. I don't know. I like to think that things would change under a different administration. They'd probably know this mass surveillance. Like, I'm pretty sure Trump would change a lot of that. But
well, and Trump would realize what it is. It's a waste of fucking money because, like, you're going after people for like nothing. There's no benefit to it.
Well, and the real problem, like, even if Trump gets in, he'll do the best he can in 4 years, but that's not a lot of time to get a lot done. He can do a lot, but the Democrats will do everything they can to slow everything down. And there'll be people trying to stop him to get everything to do what he can, but it's I don't know, man. It's a long journey ahead of us. The bad actors are definitely out there in mass.
Yeah, they stonewalled a lot of the kitty. We'll see.
Yeah, you shall see.
Yep. Happy, good, fun time.
I mean, a lot of this sounds scary, but I like things could change very easily. And even if let's say presidents and all that don't do anything, I mean, there's always hope. We always have like governors and states and all that. Like, move out to Florida if you want, I suppose. Like, even if Kamala wins, I don't think she'll have a very successful run of it. But who knows? I like to think on the positive side, mostly because I don't really have a choice. I pretty much have to think positively. Otherwise, I'll just get all depressed. And then you might think, oh, it's time for elections. What's the point?
Yeah. I mean, at this point, it almost is a what's the point when it comes to, like, voting. Because, like, I can't vote for who I want to win because it doesn't matter who I vote for. They're going to lose because somebody's going to print out a bunch of votes and it's not going to matter.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like
bunch of mail-in ballots overnight.
I don't think they can pull it off this time. I mean, they'll try, but
we'll see. I don't want them to be able to, but like I said, hey, we'll see. Like, whatever.
I think if they were,
it's pretty fucking scary. She's a bitter vengeful.
Yeah, I don't like. Honestly, if you're the Democratic Party, I would say just take the L. Just let Trump have it. Let him do whatever he's going to do, and then just make a plan. Because you have 4 years to come up with a plan. Because Trump can't run again. This will be his last go.
True.
And it's like at this point, bide your time, come up with a plan, which is kind of what they tried to do last time. And yeah, that's the real scary part because Trump can't run again. And I don't know, these people are crafty and they hold on to things with a vengeance.
Yeah. I just want to fucking have my government back in the hands of the people. Would be nice, but I don't know. I don't see a way forward through this that's not.
Well,
that's peaceful.
I think, like I said, I think Trump will win regardless. And but that's really not the scary part because like you'll have him for 4 years, and hopefully you don't get like complacent and think, oh yeah, things are fine. I don't have to worry about it anymore. I think they're hoping people will calm down at that point. That's when they'll come back, and they could come back with a vengeance, which is probably what's going to happen. That's why it's more important that the next presidential race, someone sensible gets in. Just don't be like us here in Canada and get fooled by some relatively sensible sounding guy called Justin Trudeau. I mean, at the time he didn't sound batshit crazy. Now that guy is fucking insane. Which I know you guys probably don't pay attention to Canadian politics, but he did say some really, really fucking crazy stuff the other day.
Oh no.
Well, okay, so there's a hearing going on about like foreign interference in our elections because like I mentioned before, that we have like 11 people in Parliament right now who took like bribes and all that from foreign actors like India and China, but we don't know who they are because of the gag order. Now, Justin Trudeau had said in this hearing that's going on right now, he said that he knows about the people. He says that there are a couple of people in the Conservative Party, which is the Pierre Poilievres and all that. He said that there's a couple people in there who are working for foreign actors, and because the leader refuses to sign to actually view the document to see who these people are, that he's allowing them to flourish and do whatever they're going to do. And he says that Pierre Poilievre should be tried for treason.
Yeah.
And like, he didn't sign it because there's a gag order. He wouldn't be able to do anything about it if he did sign it. But Justin Trudeau is the one who implemented the gag order, so that means he could do something about it. If he knows who it is, he could say who it is, and he won't. Because it's like, yeah, we know there's some in one party, but we know there's some in the other party too. And who are those? I don't know, but he knows. So yeah, so that's the thing right now. It's like Trudeau's trying to get him to get that guy charged with treason. Like, good luck with that.
I'm still baffled by him a couple of years ago praising the fucking Chinese system for how quickly a dictatorship can fucking implement change.
Yeah.
For, I don't know, climate bullshit. Yeah, like that's fucking terrifying.
I love climate bullshit.
Oh fuck.
What happened?
Yeah, you remember that when it was 2 or 3 years ago now. Yeah, he actually said that. Like it was talking about some kind of carbon whatever, and then praising how quickly China can get shit done because it's a dictatorship.
Yeah.
Trudeau.
Yeah. Trudeau. I thought that was a good thing to say in public. So I'm like, alright, that's fucking terrifying.
You know, he certainly thought so. But that guy's clearly a psychopath, so I'm not surprised he'd say that.
Yeah.
What's this? A psychopathic person wants total and absolute control? Go figure.
Yeah, shocking.
I know, right?
Yeah. No. Oh, I like that they're still trying to sell that fucking bullshit that there was no migrant takeover at the Aurora Apartments in Colorado.
Oh yeah, the apartment complex. Yeah.
They're still trying to sell that shit. It's like there's literally the people that live there are saying, yeah, that definitely fucking happened. And then there's like police reports
still going on.
And the government absolutely refused to do anything to help this guy kick out the Venezuelan gangs that were literally collecting his rent money from his tenants. You know, like they were literally stealing money and property, and the government has done absolutely nothing in any way, shape, or form to assist. They have refused on every level to intervene. These people are beating up, raping, and killing people in our country, in one of our cities, while stealing at the same time. And the local government is like, no, they're just poor innocent little didn't do nothings.
Sorry, they're brown. We can't do anything. That would be racist.
Yeah. So I think that the problem is we're looking at deportation as the answer, and I think what you need as the answer is execution. Like at this point, I think you just start executing illegal immigrants on the spot, put a bounty out on them. You know, let people collect like $50 a head or something, and we'll deal with it pretty quick. And people will stop crossing the border illegally. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because that's what you do when you protect your country against an invasion. Is you kill the enemy soldiers. You don't just like let them wander around and be like, well, now don't do anything bad, you enemy soldier, you, and just let them go. Like that's not how that works. But it is kind of scary because the U.S. government has very, very sneakily put into effect something that's blatantly unconstitutional. Yet again, they have authorized the military to use deadly force in aiding the police. If the police request the military's aid, the military is now obligated to respond with deadly force if they're asked to. And that's not how that's supposed to work. And I'm sure a lot of people might think that they're thinking another January 6th, which is one of the possibilities, I'm sure. But I don't know if anybody realizes they've been steadily trying to make militias illegal.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is more like a situation where they're setting up for, we know where these militias are. We know that they won't disband because they know it's unconstitutional to just arbitrarily say militias are illegal. It's one of the most traditional things in our country to have militias.
Right.
You know, it's part of why our country was able to become free. And they just want to do a Westboro. Was it Westboro Baptist Church? Not the Westboro. What was the one? Waco. Like another Waco thing, but with these militia groups. They just want to go in and execute them. They don't want to arrest them. They want to execute them. Like, let's be real, you know. Because the last thing they want is, because I imagine they're going to do it after the election, once they've installed Kamala, if that's what the outcome is. Is make militias illegal and then go through and start exterminating them, because they don't want any potential revolution or, you know, anybody to think that there's any possibility of overthrowing the false government. And reinstating a real government of the people. So, and it aligns right up with China's sort of government style, which is why I think China's behind 90% of what's going on right now. I think they've basically bought our government. Probably your government, too.
Yeah, they have. Well, a lot of this plan, like, because China, they've implemented some of these plans, like, based on the plans of the World Economic Forum and all that. Yeah. So I think that
that might be ultimately behind what's going on with China too. But yeah, like China's the one paying the money.
Well, the thing is with China is that it is falling apart faster than we thought.
Their homeless situation is like 10 times worse than ours, man.
Mm-hmm.
They got people working their jobs from the street. You know, like it's so bad.
Yeah,
and then their buildings just fall apart because there's so many scams going on constantly. Like it's gotten to the point where I just won't order stuff if it's Chinese.
Well, and part
Because
of the
it's
problem
going to
with
fall apart and it's going to break. I'll spend more money to get it from any other part of the country, even Hong Kong.
I think that part of the problem with China, well, it's one of the things I heard. I don't know if this is true because we don't really know, but because of it's a one party system, you don't get to vote for anyone. And if you do, it's like who are you going to vote for? The party.
Yeah,
And there is
or you're going to be in a lot of fucking trouble.
Exactly. So whoever the leader is, it's appointed within the party, and they choose who the next guy is going to be. But and as a result of that, there's lots of backstabbing, backdealing, that kind of stuff. And
Well,
usually,
and the other thing is when you have an actual choice between leaders, the best one's going to win the majority of the time, and so your government's going to get better over time.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just have one party, then it doesn't matter who the leader is. You're not going to improve because there's no competition. If you don't have some sort of competition, there's no reason for anybody to get better at what they do. So you get it just systematically degrades over time to the point where everybody's just so fucking incompetent that they don't have any idea what the fuck they're doing. So Chinese government is basically just a bunch of retards on a bus without helmets. You know, they don't know what the fuck to do, and anything happens, they're just drooling on themselves in a fucking corner.
So one of the things that some people are suspecting, people who pay closer attention to China than I do, I've heard a few things about this, but one of the things that people are assuming is that a coup was undertaken in China, because the leader Xi Jinping went missing for about 11 days, and now he's back, and everything seems like it's back to normal, except one of the descendants in the Communist Party is now sitting right next to Xi Jinping. And normally when you have a dissenter, they get gone. They're gone. You don't see them ever again. That's how he usually does it. But here's one who's a dissenter, and he's sitting right next to him. And I thought, that's interesting. And they're smiling and acting like normally that doesn't happen. Now, this could mean that a new voting for a leader of the party could be happening sooner rather than later. They're just trying to make it seem like so things don't go up into chaos. But it could also mean that he's been deposed, and it hasn't been made public yet. So that could be a thing going on. Because let's be honest, China's falling apart, and so something needs to happen.
Oh yeah, their people are starting getting on. It's there's already people starting to starve to death. That's how bad it is.
Well, and part of the other problem with China is that no one wants to work, because what's the point in working? Whatever you make, it's not going to buy much of anything. Whatever you do, it won't go anywhere in life. You can't really start a family because it's there's no power.
It's the same thing here. It's the same thing as here.
Well, the difference in China is that they had
there's no chance in China. There's a slim chance here of getting a decent job. That's the real difference.
Well,
plus the taxes, obviously. But I mean, there's really not a lot of future in any of the jobs you can get in the U.S. or Canada right now either.
Well, the main problem in China is that they did have that one-child policy because they were worried about overpopulation, and because they have a deep sense of your kids have to take care of you when you get old because there's no real system for old people. And as a result, if you need someone to take care of you, you need to have a son, because daughters can't really provide, and if they get a husband, then their husband usually takes care of his family. He won't take care of someone else's family. So it's preferred for retirement that you have a son, and that's why, I don't know if you remember this, but China was the abortion capital of the world because they got rid of all their daughters, and so and even ones who were pregnant. And they knew that they had a daughter. They traveled to places like the United States to get an abortion, so they could start over again. Hopefully, get a son. So there's a humongous disproportion between the male and female population, and on top of all that, most of the women there, they know that they're rare, and so a lot of them think, well, I can wait for Mr. Right because there's not that many women around, and what's his options going to be? So a lot of them wait until to find a multimillionaire, but the multimillionaire already has multiple wives, or at least he has one wife and multiple mistresses. And,
Yeah, the
and,
multimillionaire isn't fucking looking around for those people like that's fucking
Exactly.
ugly chick that works at the coffee shop.
Exactly. So then,
Like
so
he's
the
not,
a
he
lot.
doesn't give a shit, and they think
Yes.
that they don't understand. They've been given that same sort of bullshit line where like they don't have to actually do any work, but everything will just fall into their laps essentially.
Exactly. So they think that they think they can wait for Mr. Right, but a lot of them waited too long. So like now they're in their 30s, no kids. So that means that the actual like the next generation is far smaller than anyone thought possible. Now China stopped publishing the birth rates back in like 2010 or something. So it's been like a decade, but back then you can already see the early projection that China's population like it's just plummeting, and a lot of them are going to be retiring soon. And they can't afford to retire because they had no kids to take care of them, and even a lot of those women out there, it's really bad. So that's also part of the reason why China's also talking about invading like Taiwan and all that, partially because they need their women.
Oh, and their resources too. Yeah, their women and their resources both would be a real big score for them.
Which is kind of scary because it's like, why are you invading? We're here for your women. It's like it's kind of horrifying to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a lot of fucked up. Are you talking to your puppy? Are you talking to your pup?
God damn it! I can't seem to find a volume to not get picked up.
Okay.
Go back.
I don't even bother hiding it when my dog is bothering me. I just tell her, "What do you want here, you little bitch? What do you want? What do you want?" He's not here.
My God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. We're in rough straits in every fucking country at this point.
Well, on the China thing, that's a problem that's going to take care of itself. So I'm not overly worried about.
You
China.
hope, yeah, you hope it does. You hope it does. You never know. Like sometimes it's just like one guy is like a really loyal guy in the military and fucking does something crazy shit and keeps Xi Jinping in power or something like that. Like probably not, but you know those things can happen. I never count your eggs before they're hatched.
Yeah, when it comes to China, just wait. I mean, the time is their greatest enemy
Yeah.
at this point. So.
Well, the thing is, like, they're spending money they don't have. Like, they're just printing money. They like so eventually people are going to realize that like payoffs from the Chinese government have no value. Like, there's no benefit to taking them.
Mm-hmm. Do that.
So you know that's just how it be.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, anything else going on that's
Well, have you guys?
interesting?
Did you hear about some of the latest stuff with the Deadpool Wolverine money stuff?
No, I know. I like the movie. I think was successful, right? I mean,
It was. Yep. Well, $1 billion. Did really well. The drama is that from what we've heard, is that Ryan Reynolds and his team had a verbal agreement, if you will, with Disney that if the movie does well, that they think that Disney should make a series of like at least 3 Marvel movies and make sure the budget is $100 million, similar to how Deadpool, like his first movie did. Just make these low budget for Disney, $100 million, and make these low budget single superhero movies just to try and revitalize the MCU. Which I think is a great idea. That's amazing. That it keeps them in the budget. It keeps product on in theaters, so that way you have more to go, and it'll increase sales. That just made sense. It was amazing. So that was kind of what was going on. Now we're finding out that what Disney's doing instead is they're going to take all that money that they got from Deadpool Wolverine, and they're going to use that to make live action remakes of older movies. So,
which is what nobody wants. Like, there's no market for that. Oh my God, they're so fucking dumb.
Well, and it's upsetting because these are pretty much guaranteed flops.
Yeah, it's like they're just literally throwing money down a fucking hole at this point.
Yeah, and it's like,
And
why
it's
would
money
you put
that Ryan Reynolds and that guy and Hugh Jackman brought in, which is just even sadder.
yeah,
That they'd
this is
already
their
said, hey, you know what? If you guys bring in a bunch of money, we'll let you guys, like, go out and make more money for us. And they're like,
oh yeah, like this.
wait a
like,
minute, we've thought about this, and we realized that what we don't want is more money. What we want is less money.
Yeah, well, because like all that hard work, and it paved the way to revitalize the MCU and make great content. Because the other thing is, like, he wanted to make a series of like, obviously Deadpool 4 was one of the things he wanted to make, and a couple other smaller budget movies that could have also been, tied into the MCU, and it could have been fucking awesome. But it didn't go that way, and they're kind of upset now. There's talk about lawsuits and all that, because it's like, this money was supposed to go to this. And of course, Bob Iger said, well, it was a verbal agreement, so I don't have to do anything. It's like, that's technically true, but at the same time, like that's going to hurt, like, the future movies. It's going to hurt future revenues. It's going to hurt everything. And not only that, he's putting the money into movies that are guaranteed to flop. And he's saying, well, it's speculative, because some of the live-action movies did really well. Yes, some, but the vast majority of them don't. And some of the ones he wants to make are pretty much guaranteed to fail. Like, okay, so the 3 in the works right now is the live-action Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, guaranteed to fail. And then the other one is the live-action Lilo and Stitch. I'm sorry, I love the animated movie. I don't think a live-action is it. I think that's going to fail. And the other one, and then the other one,
same thing. The movie was great, but it's just there's no market for it. Nobody wants the live-action remakes.
I'd rather they make another animated Lilo and Stitch movie. I'm sorry, that is the only thing that would work. But then the third movie that they have planned is incredibly baffling. Like, why would you do this? It's a live-action Moana movie. Why? No one wants a live-action Moana. Yes, Moana was successful. Moana 2 is probably going to do okay. But a live-action movie? Moana is not that old. It came out not that long ago.
Yeah. The thing that gets me is, why are they still trying to make live-action remakes of anything? Like
I think it's because
overwhelmingly what has turned out to be the case is that other than superheroes, nobody wants a live-action remake of anything. Like, it's just not. It's just no. Like, it doesn't matter if you do it right or wrong. Just nobody wants to buy it at all.
I think it's because they're scared and they don't want to take a gamble on something new. It's easier to take on something that is good, which is a sign of laziness, and it's also a sign of desperation. Because like, yes, these old animated movies were very successful. They're very memorable. We love them to death. We grew up with them. A live-action version, nobody really wanted to. Like, some of them did well. I think The Jungle Book did really well, and same thing with The Lion King. But that's pretty much it. Like, they did that live-action Little Mermaid. That was a disaster.
Pinocchio. I forgot all about it, but Pinocchio was apparently awful.
It was pretty bad from what I've heard. Not to mention, they're doing all this thing where they're gender bending certain characters, race swapping others, turning, like, they had that live action Beauty and the Beast, and they made, like, Gaston's sidekick there gay, and I'm like, why? What was the point in that? And he could have also not been gay, it would have been fine, but they made such a...
Well, he was a non-sexual character. He wasn't anything in the animated movie. He was just a fucking cartoon character. Because there was no sex, because it was a fucking children's thing. Mm-hmm. So why are you introducing sexuality in a fucking children's movie? It's not for adults. It's for little kids. And you know what little kids don't need? They don't need to know who's fucking who.
I think part of the reason why they think that is because they also know that there's a huge demographic shift in that people nowadays don't have kids. A lot of them don't have children. And so what they're tailoring for, the reason why they're doing these live-action remakes is because they're trying to get the audience who grew up with these movies, and hopefully that they'll come in, and then they'll add a few more modern-day stuff in there, so that way it feels a little bit more fresh, and it goes to the politics of the people they're trying to reach. Because let's be honest, a lot of the people who watch these are usually women, and a lot of them are more socially minded people. So it makes sense. I understand the logic for why they're doing it, and the logic is sound, but the results are not. So if you look at the results, not going to work. And the movies that, like the Marvel movies that made a lot of money, were usually ones that were more tailored to the male audiences. Now they want to tailor it to both because they assume that's how you make money. But even the movies that were tailored to only the males, or like young boys and teenagers and like man babies like me or whatever, that did well, and the women still went to them as well. Because let's be honest here, masculine men are attractive to women as well.
Yeah.
It just makes sense.
I don't know. I'm just tired of seeing it. I'd love to see some new and interesting shit coming out of the pipe. I saw a fun movie last night, actually, that was
what one?
fairly entertaining. It was called The Unhealer.
Oh, I've never heard of it.
It was not it was like a mid-budget movie, so it wasn't like a bunch of fucking buddies got together in their garage and made a film. But it's certainly not like mainstream media level, like great quality. But it's good quality enough that like maybe there's one or two shots in the movie where you're like, that digital effect was kind of shitty, or blah blah blah, something along those lines. But nothing like major's wrong with it as far as that goes, which is nice. Because with a lot of indie films, you're dealing with like really just terrible fucking quality. But in this case, it's not, which is really really nice. It's a kid who gets the ability to reflect stuff back on whoever does it to him. So if somebody punches him in the face, it's like they got punched in the face and he's not hurt. Right? And it's a horror thriller kind of 80s, late 80s, early 90s kind of fun sort of movie about that. And obviously, things go wrong and he has to, like, he gets like sort of like a Carrie revenge streak on the bunch of guys that are bullies and stuff like that. But it was interesting because the main character had pica.
Mm-hmm.
Where they eat weird shit?
Yeah, where they just eat weird shit. It's a compulsion. And so that's why everybody's making fun of him. So it was like, you totally understood where every character came from. And it just, like, everything worked. It was really fun. I highly recommend it. The acting was decent. And the characters were fun and thought out, and I thought fairly believable.
Mm.
What was the name of it again? Sorry.
The Unhealer.
Yeah, I got the trailer pulled up. I'll give it a watch.
Yeah. If it's because it might not be your cup of tea, like that genre of movie or whatever. So yeah, definitely watch the trailer first. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I'm not usually a thriller horror movie kind of guy, but this is one I liked. It was kind of like a little bit of a revenge flick.
I got the trailer in the general chat there, so okay. Give that a watch. I'll see if it's something I'd be interested in.
Yep.
I saw.
I thought the new Hellboy was pretty good too. So you get a chance to watch that one.
Good things. Yeah, I heard good things about that.
Yep. I was very surprised. It's a totally different take on Hellboy, but I really like this actor better. Substantially better, actually. It was more like a detective thriller kind of movie. And it was just genuinely fun. And just, there was no DEI stuff in there that I could tell at all. So I was kind of surprised at that. And it was all based in, like they're riding a train and they get derailed and end up in the holler, like out in the Appalachians kind of area. So there's like witchcraft and shit like that going on. The devil. It's called The Crooked Man, which is obviously a reference to the devil.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of that going on. And it was, I thought this guy's playing of Hellboy was better than Ron Perlman's, personally.
Alright. Yeah, I kind of like Ron.
Oh, I'm not saying Ron Perlman's was bad. I'm just saying his was better.
Yeah, interesting. Okay.
No,
Ron Perlman's an insufferable fucking cocksucker. He did alright in the Hellboy movies.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Ron Perlman, I don't really care for him as a person. As an actor, he's fine, but yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of actors that I don't care for as people, but enjoy as actors.
Yeah. Almost all of them.
Yeah,
Almost
they're
universal.
everywhere.
Yeah, I love De Niro. He's a fucking. As far as fucking politics, he's definitely a
Well, a lot of
fucking
actors are
PBS
nitwits,
guy.
man. I was listening to a lot of the podcasts from It's Always Sunny, and those guys are like, it's pretty clear that they're not really super into politics, like just not in general, but and just go with whatever the trend is and like pay whatever. Like yeah, sure, I agree with you. Yep. Like I don't really fucking
Sure,
want to
why
be
not?
involved, so can I just go now? Like kind of.
I kind of like
thing.
those. I kind of like those kind of people because it's like we have better things to do than to worry about politics, and I think that's usually the good thing because it's like I think politics should be about boring shit, like making sure the roads are running on time, making sure that the buses aren't falling
Yeah, I
apart.
know. When did
Yeah,
politics become about the guiding society? Like, that's not your fucking job as the government. Your job is to make sure the trains are on time and the electricity runs.
yeah. It used to
Yeah,
be whenever you see someone that's like overly political, you just sort of look at them and go, yeah, whatever, buddy. Anyway, what's Roger doing?
yeah.
I shouldn't have to give a rat's ass about this. It's boring because it
Well, and
is.
and
It's
and
now.
the nice thing is if people can just like go about and doing their jobs, and everybody makes more and does more and is happier in general.
Yep, I think so too. On a
Nope,
completely
politics got to be up in everyone's business.
exactly. On a side note, small side tangent there. I put two AI generated songs in the general chat. They're short little like 1-2 minute songs. I don't know who this guy is, but I fucking love it because one's about witch hunting and the other one's about women driving like shit. Professional singers cannot make songs like this anymore. So it's like the only way you can get like hilarious songs is like you gotta get AI to do it for you.
Oh, it's a shame.
Yeah, but at the same time, these are fucking good songs. Like the witch hunt one, I listened to it like 5 times before I get to the gym. I fucking love this song. It's like my
Everything
Halloween.
I've heard from AI songs in general is pretty decent. Like
Well,
it seems
Kind of scary, right?
like it's not like a real big case of good or bad so much as just the fact that like
Yeah, it's decent.
it's decent, it's all right, it's listenable.
Well, I think the part of the problem is that when people write songs that are like slightly edgy and humorous, that kind of stuff gets taken off the internet. You can't do this, you can't do that. Then it's like a huge headache. But if you do it through AI, there's no one to get mad at. It's a computer. It did it
Yeah.
all. It's on there. Who are you going to blame? And it's kind of ridiculous. And so there's no one to get mad. So it's kind of the way to circumvent the system. Or it could also be that this was all written by an
Avoid
actual
like
person.
the fucking backlash kind of thing.
Yeah. So like I'm listening to these. This guy also has another one about like daddy's belt and making kids fucking fear him because he's got a fucking belt to get you. Oh, it's hilarious. They used to have songs like this all the time. It's like I can't hear these anymore.
Ooh, like actual good interesting music. That is a definite like guy would very much like to enjoy that.
I know, right? Who knows? But yeah, little side note there. Anyway, are we winding down? There.
Yeah, we got like about another half hour at most.
Oh, okay, never mind. Well,
Well,
just
I'm
keep
looking
going.
at like what else is on there though. Let's see. Did the Adams Family meal at Burger King? It wasn't terrible, but it was exactly what I expected. It was like a burger and onion rings. The churro fries are good, and the shake is pretty good, and they're the only two things that are even remotely different.
Yeah, the purple bun seems odd to me. Like,
Yeah, it
I
just
know there's
looks
nothing wrong with
off-putting,
it.
which is why it makes it perfect for Adam's Family. But it tastes like a normal burger bun. There's no difference.
Yeah, I'm like,
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know where that
Kamala
crook came
and Trump might go on Joe Rogan. That's kind of fucking funny.
yeah.
The
I assumed
Kamala-
they meant separately, but I thought it would be hilarious. That
Joe would probably rather have him on at the same time. I mean,
yeah. That
He's
would
all
be
about
fucking
that.
amazing.
He's like, let's all sit down and have a rational conversation. Let's see if everybody can be civil and adult in one room. Like,
Oh man.
Well, Kamala's been
Yeah, well,
begging.
Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say Kamala's been begging for like a rematch ever since the last one because she did such an awful job.
oh
And so
yeah,
she kept.
Yeah, well, she went on Fox News. Like that's the only thing that is they have to be desperate to ever bother being interviewed on Fox News. And again,
Yep.
it turned out poorly, but it's a Hail Mary. Like when you take a risk like that. So yeah, I would. That's why she wants to debate, just on the off chance or look better coming out of it.
and there's no way.
That's
Yeah,
just
it's
terrible.
definitely not going to look
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, it's like it's one thing to just constantly be offended at her. That seems to be her go-to thing. It's like, how dare you? You know what I mean? Like and deflecting from whatever the actual is.
Mm-hmm.
Like acting like anyone, no basis for what they're saying about being a horrible person.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
I don't
gotta
know.
be pretty
I think
fucking
it'd be pretty funny. I just want to see Joe Rogan versus Trump and Kamala. Like either one sounds fucking great. Like
Yeah.
if you only get
that
one
would-
out of the two, it would still be fucking epic.
I think.
Right.
I think if they were, because Joe would be the moderator, and I think he would just let Trump say whatever.
Oh, he'll let
and
Kamala say whatever too. I think for the most part, but
Well, yeah.
you know,
Well, the
'cause
only thing
he's
is,
always happy to let his guests say like whatever crazy shit comes out of their mouths. Like that's half the entertainment
Yeah.
value of the show.
Yeah, if you want to watch his Terrence Howard podcast, the one where he had Terrence Howard, nonsense, he'll be willing to listen to. Because that guy,
Terrence Howard. I don't remember that guy, but the name sounds really familiar.
yeah, he's the one that thing with, yeah, his new math. Yeah, he's delusional. He's an intelligent guy. Also
Oh, they're
incredibly
always
delusional.
intelligent. Like the lunatics that they go on those shows are always intelligent. My favorite is
Yeah.
the comedians and the actors, but like, yeah, the conspiracy guys are always kind of entertaining.
But yeah, no, he's an actor. He's a well-known actor. Terrence Howard from
Oh,
Empire.
that makes sense then. Okay, that's why I recognize
Yeah.
the name, but not
Yeah,
necessarily
he's
like that.
Empire. He
Well.
was the
He's
original,
probably been in something I've seen.
He was the original roadie in the first Iron Man one, but apparently he's such a prick or asked for too much money
Oh, really?
for all the later ones. Yeah. Yeah.
God, that's too bad. That's got to be rough getting
Yeah.
fucking kicked out of that kind of thing. Like that kind of good money and
yeah.
also just great padding on your resume.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll put up a pic of him. See him, you might. Yeah, so don't get me on that, but yeah, he's definitely thinks he's far more intelligent than he is. If you listen to the Rogan one, it's like, okay, I don't think I completely understand it, but all right. You're like, yeah, no, I can tell you it doesn't make any sense, Joe. I don't think it's a fact of it being too smart for Rogan.
Thou drivest like shit.
There you go. There's Terrence Howard. That's the guy.
Oh
Hey,
yeah,
no,
I've
Rogan,
seen
I'm
him.
gonna
I
go.
know. I've seen that guy in a bunch of shit. Yeah.
Yeah, he's an actor who's going right. You know, the
Yeah,
physical laws
I
of the
think the
universe.
smart move right now, if you're an actor, is to stay the fuck out of politics. Honestly,
Mm.
I think most people are kind of like at the point where they just don't want to hear it from you. You know, regardless of what side you're on. Like, I don't think it even matters like what side they're on. People
Well,
are
his
just
is
kind of
more
like,
of like for Terrence Howard. I guess he's talking of more scientific physics shit. Like he's going to shit that. and he knows how the universe actually.
Oh, well, there's that fucking idiot Neil deGrasse Tyson who's like some sort of... Everybody thinks he's a genius because he has like some basic knowledge of
Yeah.
I forget there's like astronomy and astrology, and one is real and one is bullshit, and I can't remember which is which.
Yeah, astronomy is the real one.
Oh yeah, astronomy, because he's an astronomist. You know, he understands astronomy. And I'm like, that's cool and all, but like, you know, the guy's not really like very smart in any other respect. I mean, he comes up and he starts representing himself as an expert in like every field. And the whole reason is because I'm a scientist, so he must just know everything that anyone ever could wonder, because he's super smart scientist, man.
I think a lot of those like scientists gotta be careful now. People are now so suspicious about academics. It's like,
oh yeah, because academics can obviously be bought. Like we've seen that. Like,
well, if you can buy a politician, who's to say you can't buy an academic?
Well, you used to say that, but I think you can now.
Yeah. Well, Bill Nye comes out. Left you.
Yeah. Well, you see, some of them. Some of them are just. Yeah, some of them are kind of just dumb on the thing. So you can't. Some of them I'm not always suspicious that they are actually bought and paid for. Some are.
Yeah. Some of them are bought and paid. Some of them are just idiots. Like that's always been a pretty fair assessment, Yeah.
I was looking up the Terrence Howard thing. So he had claimed to discover the grand unified equation.
The grand unifying theory? Wow.
Field theory. Yeah, so the thing that Einstein went quite pulling off.
He's Howard smarter than Einstein. Oh, that's definitely not some narcissism there from an actor.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking brilliant, dude. Yeah, I cannot even remember the specific. And yeah, Joe Rogan, which is, I mean, honestly, it's a thing that overly credulous in that kind of situation.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
okay, I'll take your word for it. Keep going. And Joe wasn't humoring. Joe just didn't know what he was talking about, and also didn't understand that it was nonsense. And it's something kind of. I feel like people that aren't secure, like in their intellect, if they hear a bunch of fucking crazy nonsense with big words, they assume it's intelligent and makes sense.
Yes.
And they just
That's
don't
where
understand.
you get the TikTok sweater vest culture of science. Where like this guy on TikTok used a lot of words and he wore a sweater vest and he fucking put on glasses, so whatever he said must be true. Or this chick had weird colored hair and glasses, so whatever she said must be true. It's like those are the two fucking like smart looks. So like they just say the right, like say big words and they have the right look, and it's everything they say is infallible.
Or they have like
that's the thing.
Or
if
they
you
have
any amount of intelligence, you're going to recognize that was and know it. You know what I mean, and not be like, oh, I must be too dumb. And I understand all those words. They don't make what they're saying doesn't make any fucking sense. You remember Deepak Chopra? He was big with Oprah back in the day. Okay, that guy decided it would be a good idea to go to a debate with like Michael Shermer and Sam Harris, I think, at Caltech. So fucking like a tech, high, it's like MIT kind of, or not in that range, right? And he spouted his nonsense, and because he was in a room of a bunch of really smart kids, college kids, they laughed at most of the shit he said because they knew it was fucking nonsense, and it wasn't the Oprah Winfrey crowd that he was speaking to. It's fucking brilliant. Wow. It was several years ago. It was like fucking, I don't know, 10 years ago or something. But
does it hit with the same thing as that TV show host making the comment where he's like, oh yeah, well, CNN is the, unbiased news source, and everybody just starts laughing?
Dude, it's pretty
Carell
similar.
Moment,
Yeah, dude, it's just amazing.
When it turns
And
out that, when you
honestly,
actually, get out and talk to people in the real world, the propaganda just falls apart. Nobody really buys into it.
yeah, dude. Yeah, no, it's pretty similar to the, I guess, talking about people cheating in games.
Yeah, like they talk about how, like,
That just spliced together his world record run.
you'll hear
And
that,
thought he
like,
was gonna
Kamala's
show up to a
ahead
place
in the fucking thing, but in reality it takes him forever to find anybody that supports her on the street.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Nobody can stand this bitch.
Yeah.
I mean, for someone that's so unlikable, insanely far. She got all the way to the vice presidency.
Well,
despite
she
being an
was
unlikable-
she was a woman and black and Indian, and
Nah,
that was
man,
enough
she's
to
not
get her,
black.
like, put in place.
She's not black. That's the amazing thing about it. Other than having Jamaican
No,
hair-
but I mean that's black and Indian is in the colors of her skin. That's what I'm talking about. They weren't looking at, like, was she, like, African? Like
Yeah.
is she, like, the same as what they technically consider to be black? But she's black skin and Indian skin. Like, that's all they care. I doubt they understand that she's not Native American when you say that she's Indian. Like,
Yeah, I would say Indian. Yeah, they want you to misunderstand that. Yeah. They don't want to have to clarify
Yeah.
India. Yeah.
they'd prefer that you just think whichever is more favorable to you. Like,
Yeah. Whichever one
one
works
you
best.
like better, we would prefer you think that.
I was going to say
Yeah.
that the other thing about the intellectuals there is that they also talk with a pretentious tone of voice, and some people actually think that means that they're actually intelligent because they speak with such confidence.
Yeah, the condescending fucking tone. Oh, I fucking
Yeah.
hate that.
Like the Deepak Chopra is the same thing. Like he talks with such confidence and pretentiousness, but that's kind of the key to a lot of these people and how they
A real,
convince-
genuinely scientific mind is going to always be a little fucking unsure of themselves.
Yeah, because
They're
they're
going
going
to
to sound
be
like
happy
normal
to
people.
share the stuff they know and that we think we know, but they're always going to leave room for, like, but that's just what we think right now. Like, they're not going to be like, oh yeah, it's always going to be true. Because they
Yeah,
real
again,
scientists, they
certainty
know
doesn't
that
really
everything
exist.
changes. Yeah.
Yeah, certainty does not exist really.
Water was unfucking
science.
compressible in everybody's mind. You could not compress water. And then we found out that, oh no, under enough pressure, water does actually compress, just not a whole lot.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I remember when trains, the physicists back then proved that you couldn't go faster than 28 miles an hour, or all the air would get sucked out and everyone would suffocate inside. That was proven by physicists. So yeah,
That's,
also just, again,
that's fucking funny.
no matter how astronomically unlikely shit might be, yeah, scientists will not generally speak in terms of certainties for
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, it's just a general rule because it's like, you never know when things are going to change because whatever knowledge you have changes.
Yeah, because again, most of the rules 13 billion light years away. This looks different. We're not sure what it means yet. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, shit like that is happening all the time. Shit's getting changed. Shit's getting what do you call it? Adjusted for whatever the latest data is. Except in archaeology, they're whatever they've concluded in the past has to be right.
Yeah, it's weird how, like, so many people cling to that shit in archaeology.
Yeah, it's like I said, because there's some crazy shit out there, but Grant Hancock certainly isn't right about everything, but he's definitely got some interesting ideas, and they just will not consider them.
And the thing with archaeology is, like, we know that we don't know, so being wrong is pretty much the standard. You would think in archaeology.
Yeah.
You know you're going to be wrong a lot of the time because you're just making guesses, educated guesses at what happened. Like, we don't have any way of knowing for sure that any of what we think is right is correct.
Yeah. But if anybody comes up with anything that's different from that, they got to be shouted down.
Yeah.
Not listened to. They're quacks. Did you see the? I forget the dude's name, but he's some fucking reality dad. Where's the silly fucking? And he was on with Graham Hancock. Rogan had him on together, I think.
Oh yeah, they
But
had
yeah,
an
like all the shit he
argument going
started.
back and forth,
Yeah.
and the guy was just incredibly rude and
asshole.
shitty all the time.
Yeah, and Graham Hancock's actually.
Oh, you just
You know what I mean?
went
Like-
dead for me for a good couple of seconds there.
God damn it! Am I still here? Hello?
Yeah, you're here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just every once in a while, it's
Cut out
just
on you.
cutting out for like a second now.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. I forget the other guy's name, but yeah, obviously, one of the people that's in.
I watched it. Oh yeah, the guy was like a little fucking worm of a guy. I did not care for the guy's
yeah,
personality.
yeah,
He made
Yeah,
some
he
fair
was a little
points
shit.
though.
No.
To be fair, he did make some points
Yeah.
he made were fair.
yeah. Although there was some shit that he lied about.
Oh
that they
yeah,
found out
No,
later.
no, he lied about other stuff too. Yeah, he was not like, but like neither one of them was like perfect. They both had some shit where they were like
Yeah,
getting shady on.
Flint Dibble. His name is Flint Dibble. Oh wow, that sounds like a fucking Flintstones character, no?
That's a guy
I
who
know.
got bullied a lot when he was a kid. That's all I know.
Yeah, they did not care that his dad was. I assume he got fucked with by.
Oh yeah, Flint
Everybody.
Dibble, you're definitely getting fucked with over that name all through like grade school and junior high at least. If you're really slick, you might figure out how to own that in fucking high school and make it like a fucking funny thing. You know, like
Yeah.
make it into like make the joke yours so that other people can't get their jokes in there. But like,
Mhm.
yeah, that's rough, dude.
I think with a name like that, maybe it would have been best if you're like a Dr. Seuss and you wrote like children's books, and then people will just think, oh, that's just a pseudonym. That might be how you get around that.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, like in it doesn't matter in
such a
high school
silly-
and below because
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
kids
It-
are
it's
savages.
such
Their
a-
brains aren't fully developed. They don't fully have like what do you call that? Empathy, any empathy or like sympathy.
It's such a silly name. Like maybe you can ask the people who say like call me Dib, Frank Dib.
Yeah.
Maybe that might be how he got around it. Hi, I'm Frank Dib.
Flint Dibble. It's just it's a double whammy.
I wonder if it's that because Flint obviously is, and some of those prehistoric civilizations pretty. I wonder if I would assume he's probably named because of that.
Is
His
this
dad
that
was an
pretentious asshole
archaeologist.
you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one I
that's
just
the guy.
posted a picture of him. Yeah, he
You know
just
who-
looks like a hipster douchebag, right? Like,
You know who that reminds me of? That fucking Vosh.
oh, dude.
Wow.
Oh my
I'm thinking
god.
of the Bosch or the Amazing Atheist. You guys remember that?
See,
Banana
okay,
Man. I remember Banana Man.
yeah, I mean, Amazing Atheist is an asshole, sure, whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
well, he's always got a banana in his asshole. That much we know.
I mean, yeah, I just sort of like that guy. Just sort of chose to forget. But then you got like Vosh, who's more.
Yeah, he
in the-
still had somewhat of an audience even after his crazy horse and.
Well, I think the only reason people follow him is for the lulls. Because I'm gonna be honest, like some of what he says is so insane to the average, to like
Oh,
a
yeah.
sane mind. I like part of me is like he's got to be trolling, but at the same time, like I think he means it. Like I was on the fence when it came to like Brittany Venti because I thought she actually was that stupid, but then I'm like, I mean she is, but she's not. Like she was trolling for the most part.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
she's-
it turned
she's
out
dropped the
Brittany
act for the-
Venti was just a fucking character, is what we found out.
Which I'm
Yeah.
okay with.
I
mean,
don't
she,
really care
yeah.
for the real person behind her that much. It's not somebody
Yeah.
I'm very entertained by or would want to spend time with. But I can appreciate that she's not quite that fucking dumb.
Yeah, she's definitely not.
She's
You know
not
what
like
they
a super conservative, though, as far as I
Super
know, right? Like, she just kind of jokes around about being like a trad wife or something.
something like that. You know what they should do? They should bring her onto the Daily Wire for some of their content. Make her a character in some of their movies. probably sell it a
Oh
little bit
god, you
better.
know what they should do is get somebody who can write a fucking movie that isn't going to write any political fucking messaging into it if they want to actually be successful with that shit.
Or
Like they have
disguise
a
it,
small
or
market,
try
but their
to
market is
disguise
just going to shrink over time. If they were just making films that were good and interesting to watch and didn't have any political messaging or cultural messaging, they'd get a
Mhm.
bigger
Yeah.
audience over time, and it'd probably work to spread
it. Yeah.
their stuff better than whatever it is they're doing now.
Well, and I
Yeah, I
guess
don't buy in. I think they're just great. Like the, you know,
well, yeah, they see a gap in the market. And they think that they can go in on it, but it's a lot harder than that because conservatives are not very good at making art and comedy and all that because they're a little too stuffy. They're good hard workers. Don't get me wrong, but well, not that.
Some conservatives come along here and there. There's plenty that are.
Yeah.
It's just they get there through hard work. They don't get there through like the crazy luck and stuff that a lot of people fall in love with that story and want to be fans of. You know, like if you're discovered by accident living out of your car like Jewel, you know, she was living out of her car singing in a fucking cafe, but you know they literally pulled her off of the street into a record contract. And I think she's super left wing. I'm not sure, but like that is a story that people really like. Oh my god, that's amazing. So a lot more people are into that just because it's like a cooler story.
yeah, yeah, but no, they're like the Daily Wire when they start. Remember when this thing happened? She's where they did the her, she, whatever, and then the Daily Wire, shitty chocolate bar, and they're like, "Mine, you can buy it that says him or whatever the fuck they did with it, $40 to own the libs." So that kind of grifting shit just bugs me, dude. Like, why do you have to try to cash in on that? And so egregiously, I really think they charge like $40 a piece for them. It was an insane amount.
Oh yeah.
So
Well,
yeah,
you know,
I
like
just
people
don't
pay money
trust
to get on these streams to like an absurd amounts of money. They just throw money at a lot of these people for like them to read off a comment that they made
Well,
and approve of it.
there is something to be said about making something that's counterculture because there are surprisingly very successful markets for that. Like, for instance, have you guys ever heard about the Supreme brand?
Nah.
So you may have seen these around. Like you'll see people with like a black or white shirt with the word Supreme on it in a red border, and it's kind of the logo. Now, Supreme was a joke. It was a couple of guys. It was supposed to be counterculture. They said that if you put any word with like a fancy font or something on it or something like that, it's gonna sell because that's all these T-shirts and marketing employees really are. It was just a joke, and they actually made it just to to punk on the fucking fashion industry. Little did they know that actually worked, and they became multimillionaires overnight. They couldn't keep it in stock, but then they thought, okay, we'll just do another couple of goes at it. And then they announced a jacket, which was a fake jacket. It wasn't real. It was a black jacket with the word Supreme in like a pattern or something on it, and it was just a joke. People wanted that because it was a counterculture thing, and it became. They eventually made it, not thinking anything of it because it's all cheap. It's not very good. It's relatively cheap to purchase. It's not an expensive thing to get. It was meant as a joke, and it became something even more so. And to add more to that is that they also thought, well, I guess maybe people will just buy anything. So they made a brick with the word Supreme on it. It's like sculpted into there. It's a collector's item. You can't get a copy of it anymore. And it's fucking, it's huge. And then these guys who created a joke end up making a huge amount of money. And that joke is still going on to this day. I'll see memes with people wearing that Supreme jacket, and they'll put like their face or something on the avatar. It's an ongoing joke that just won't die. But hey, you know what? There is something we said about counterculture, and so the conservatives are probably thinking the same thing. And maybe it worked, maybe it didn't. I don't know what the sales are like.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Well, not exactly the same thing, but just kind of how shit comes about. Like the Cane's restaurant. Are you guys familiar with
Cane's?
Cane's?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically just apparently that started from like these two dudes in college. Like, you can't have just one item in your restaurant and be successful. And so they basically were out to prove him wrong.
They were
Again, all
like,
they
no,
really
you
start-
absolutely can just sell one thing if you sell something really good.
Yeah, yeah, and that's basically how Cane's came about. It was just from that, and they're super fucking successful at it.
I mean, it makes sense. I don't think I've had Cane's chicken, but I had
It's
the,
good.
what was the one where you
It's
could
good
choose
shit.
your spice level?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Dave's Hot Chicken.
Dave's Hot Chicken.
Yeah,
I've had Dave's Hot Chicken, and that's pretty much all they sell is chicken, and it's really fucking good chicken.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then,
I'm the one
you
that
know-
told you about it. Remember?
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. I haven't tried Dave's, but I've tried the other one, and it's obvious if you have one product, you can work
Yeah,
really
you
well.
make it
And chicken
really
is
well.
apparently really a good choice because there's multiple places like that.
Yeah, it's not just black people that like chicken, dude. Everyone likes chicken.
Yeah.
They seem to like it more. I'll give you that.
I was I was in a Discord with some people, and we were waiting for this gal to come in, and she had to go run and do like a grocery trip for her mom or something like that. She was picking up some groceries for her mom, and she's a Mexican girl. And I'm talking to a Mexican dude, like they're both Mexican. The people I was talking to and one I was waiting for. And so I was like, oh, let's guess what she's buying at the store. And I'm like, I'll do milk and cheese. These tortillas and beans. And he's like, I'm kind of racist. I guess I can't go with it. I'm like, and then I'm racist with that. Everybody likes tortillas and beans. Motherfucker, it don't matter who you are. Everybody likes tortillas and beans. Like, ain't nobody going to turn a burrito down. Ain't nobody going to turn down some fried chicken. You know? There's some things that just like, yeah, it's associated with a specific race. But everybody fucking loves it, you know?
Yeah, it would be like trying to associate pizza with like, Italian.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, well, of course Italians like pizza, but so does everyone else, man.
Indeed.
Well, there's those guys on TikTok or YouTube or whatever that do the shorts that they get mad about everybody cooking their food the wrong way.
In the wrong way.
Like, you can't break your pasta. Like, apparently you're not supposed to break your pasta. If you have, like, long spaghetti, you're not... It's just a cardinal sin in Italy to, like, fucking snap it in half so that it fits the pot better.
Yeah, I always do that. I have always done that.
And then
don't-
apparently it's
What the fuck
really
is it?
not okay if you like ketchup on your pasta to have ketchup on your pasta. I don't understand that one. I don't understand the thing where people get mad about something someone else is eating. Because, like, it's not going in my mouth. I don't give a fuck what you put on it. You can go get your
it's
fucking
like
dog
the,
and fucking get your dog to come all over your fucking pasta. As long as I don't have to eat it, I don't give a shit. It's not mine. You know?
Yeah, why you care what other people might enjoy is very odd. Yeah, it's like, dude, there was a fuck, I can't remember where it was, but it was like a hot success. They refused to have ketchup on hand.
Yes.
They refused to have ketchup, dude.
There was like a burger joint. I don't know if it was nationwide, but it was in my area. And it was like Dave's Burgers or something where they didn't have ketchup and they wouldn't sell French fries. So, like, you could not get French fries with the burger and you could not get ketchup with the burger. And they were just like super upset about it if you ask. Because, like, I'd never been there before. I didn't know. And a friend took me with them to go get a burger there. And so I was like, oh yeah, well what about like fries and stuff? I don't see any fries or like onion rings or something on the menu. And they were like upset that I even asked. And I'm like, get the fuck over yourself, you fucking psycho. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
It's so odd, dude.
Everybody
I don't know. I mean,
associates
different
French
ketchup,
fries and
yeah.
onion rings with burgers in this fucking country. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, they're just wanting to be special. Just convincing themselves they're...
Not surprisingly, as far as I'm aware, they're out of fucking business. And they only lasted like a couple of years before they went out of business. Because, you know, if you have people coming into your store and you refuse to sell them one of the things they really, really want, like,
Yeah.
Weird how people don't keep going back to your
certainly-
fucking store.
Yeah, I certainly prefer mustard to ketchup. Not even close, but yeah, I have no problem.
Oh, like a good quality, like
Could you-
stone ground mustard or something, or where the seeds
Yeah.
are still whole. I'm a really big fan of that. That and like a little bit of mayo. I don't generally like ketchup on my burgers.
It's like the Dijon. I don't mind ketchup, but yeah,
I like ketchup with
if I had
fries.
to
I just don't
choose-
like it on my burgers.
Yeah.
I don't hate
Yeah, I
it. It's
like
not
actually
like if they
ketchup,
put ketchup on my burgers, I'm not going to get upset. But I like ketchup
Yeah,
with my fries.
yeah,
I like
same.
mayonnaise with my fries if that's what they have. You know, like whatever.
I like mixing ketchup and
Ketchup and what?
I like that. Just ketchup and mustard.
Oh, ketchup and
Mix
mustard.
it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, is it like ketchup, mustard,
odd
and mayo,
color.
like one of the original burger sauces? Like,
Probably.
That's one of the things that people have been mixing together to put on their burgers for like a long ass time.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Makes sense. But yeah, any places like that, like really no ketchup. Like people, a lot of people like ketchup on hot dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, for like
Well,
brats and shit,
Japanese
I'll generally
restaurants
use
have
just mustard,
forks and
but-
spoons. You know, it's like they recognize that not
Yeah.
everybody wants to eat with fucking chopsticks.
Yeah.
Also, depending on the food, you can't really eat things with chopsticks. Like they'll serve a hot dog in Japan. Good luck eating a hot dog with chopsticks.
There's people that do that shit. I don't. I would never try to. I think it's
Yeah.
fun to use chopsticks once in a while when I'm eating like sushi or something. It's kind of it's a little bit of a challenge, and it kind of makes eating your food a little more entertaining. But a lot of times I'll just give up and get a fucking fork and eat my sushi with a fucking fork because, you know what? A fork is just a better eating implement. Like, it's just the sad truth is.
Yeah. Yeah, it turns
It's just,
out there's been technological advances in eating utensils since
since
that
two
might
sticks,
actually work better. Yeah. Since awkwardly, I guess it's not awkward people that have been. Do people in Japan even like does anybody actually still do that? Like
What?
in Japan, do they really eat everything with chopsticks?
Yes.
They don't, right? They do?
Japanese are very, very tradition bound. So like it's still that's still the norm, eating with chopsticks. They expect you to use those because it's part of their culture. And like you're not allowed to stick your chopsticks down in the rice and stuff like that. And like there's things that people get offended of. But by and large, like, you know, if you want to use a fork or a spoon, I think most Japanese people wouldn't give a shit. They just
Yeah,
can't give
they're
each
just
other
not gonna
shit
do
when
it.
they don't do it. You know, so like
Yeah.
if they see another Japanese guy using a fucking fork or a spoon and it's not soup, you know, he's eating his rice with a fucking
Right.
spoon, they'll be like, you're not Japanese, use your fucking chopsticks, you know. More than like the white people, they don't give a shit because they think we're barbarians anyway, so they fucking expect us to be civilized. Come on, that's not how that works.
They're going to probably change their tone of voice in that regard pretty soon anyways, because I don't know if you heard, but due to Japan's birth rate problems, they're trying to import people from different parts of the world, and unfortunately the ones signing up the most are, people from a region that we're all familiar with, and it is not going well at
China?
all. No, Middle East and all that.
Oh, they're trying to get Middle Easterners in? That's a bad fucking choice.
They already have a whole whack there. Oh boy, they are fucking mad. Like they were mad when streamers and YouTubers are going over there being assholes. I mean, that was one thing.
Right.
These people, wow. Like we're upset. Like I'm hearing people, Japanese people are talking about like beating them in the streets and all the other shit. Like I don't know. They are really upset.
Yeah, I would be interested if there was like how there's like places that are literally just Muslims and like in places like especially in London apparently like there's whole neighborhoods where the cops really can't go in. Like it's not safe for them. Then they just apparently police themselves and they'll like try to fuck the cops up if they go in there. It'd be interesting
See,
to
now
see
what
how
you
that would
should
work
do
out
when
in
that
Japan.
happens is respond by sending your military in to just kill everybody.
Yeah.
Like, that's what
Yeah.
you do when, like, an invading force just takes over a giant part of your country, like a fucking whole
Yeah, it's
neighborhood. You
fucking
just
nuts.
send in the military and kill everybody because they're enemies of your country.
Well, I
Yeah,
think-
or an apartment complex. Yeah.
I think like
Any of that shit.
I think in Japan, when you have something that's so drastically different coming over, it'll have a huge change because with Japan, they're very conservative in how they behave and everything. It's very important in their culture. And when you bring in a culture
Do
that's
you
so
watch anime much?
yeah,
You've got to have noticed the DEI shit that's been sneaking into anime over the last few years, man.
it has in the video games as well.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
like
I've
constant
noticed
push to like you've got to accept people that are different than you and being like weird quasi homosexual queer blah blah blah. If you're a man that wants to be a woman, you're a woman, and that's wrong if you don't agree with that. Like they've been getting into that shit hard in their anime. It's starting to really creep in there.
It is, but it's not having the effect that they thought it would. Like you're right. They
No,
have been
people are
doing that.
definitely like responding like, no, the fuck we don't. Like you're wrong, like, which is
Well,
good for them, but it's still like it's, little kids that are watching it, they don't know as much, so it's infecting the minds of the little kids, whether we want to like it or not.
Yeah, well, see, in Japan, like in the anime kind of stuff, I mean, they don't make a lot. Like, okay, anime does make a lot of money, but not all that money always goes to the animators. Now, if you get an influx from people from, let's say, BlackRock and all that, who says, "Oh yeah, we'll give you a lot of money to, make various different shows. We have to do this, this, and this," they'll do it because they're happy to get that kind of money. But it's not having the effect that they thought it would because a lot of people in Japan just don't watch it, and the only reason they keep making shows is because it's other people's money, like BlackRock and all that. It's not, it's paying the bills, but they don't fucking care. No one's watching it, and
You never see a sequel on any of these fucking things, or almost never.
And even if you do see it, it doesn't mean a damn thing because no one's watching that either. Like the animators,
Well, that's
will
always
do it
been the case with anime sequels, though. Like.
I mean,
some
with
shit
the
that's
anime,
totally unpopular gets a sequel all the time, and then like stuff that's hugely popular you just never see again. It's so random, man. I don't understand how it works, but yeah, it's fucking crazy.
well, part of the reason you see shows that are really fucking fantastic. Well, okay, well, there's a few reasons. If you get an anime that's based on a book series, the people who make the books will license it out to a thing for only one season, but they also they have no reason to license it out for another season because they look at the anime as a giant commercial. So that way, if you want to know what happens, buy the book, and it works because
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so you'll see a lot of great stuff, and then it just ends. But you want to know what happens, you buy the books, and then they make more money in book sales. So it's like, why
It'll never
should
work on me, but I bet it works on a lot of fucking people.
It does. Well, because if you really, really, really like it, then yeah, it can.
Oh, there's stuff that I've really, really, really liked, but I'm not going to go buy their books. Like, I'm just not.
Well, part of the other reason is because, like I think, like, manga sale, because it's called manga in Japan, it means comic books, but the mangas are a little bit more expensive over here just because of, like, bringing it over here and paying licensing.
Yeah, if I wanted to read the manga for every anime I enjoyed, I'd never have a fucking penny to spend on anything else. It's just so expensive.
Well, it's sort of. I mean, like, for us, it's $15 for a book. In Japan, it's like $5 a book, and these are big.
No, I know.
books.
That's what I'm saying. For me, I couldn't afford it. I'm not saying it's anything about anyone else besides me specifically.
Yeah.
If I were to buy it, I wouldn't be able to afford a goddamn thing other than just anime books if I bought all the shit I was into. But
well, it also depends on who's getting the books. Like, I'm surprised when I found out, like, in Norway, the most popular cartoon character in Norway is Donald Duck. And I thought, that's interesting. Why is that all about? And it turns out that Donald Duck is really popular, and a lot of kids like to buy the books because it's mostly like a kid kind of product. But what ends up happening is that a kid will buy a book, leave it on the table, and someone else in the family will also read that book. And then that also becomes popular then. So they always have a sale, But then other merchandise also sells, like T-shirts and all that. People who've never bought a Donald Duck book but read them all because their kids had it or their little brother had it, and then it just sort of blew up in popular. I had no idea that it was that kind of popular. In a lot of manga, it's the same way. A kid will buy the book, and the parents will read it in their spare time because, like the stay-at-home mom, I guarantee you she's read every book that her kid's gotten. Because that's how
a good mother will have an idea of what their kid's fucking into.
Well, according to the numbers, I mean, usually, yeah, the mom will read the kid's book and they leave it in there, in amongst while they're cleaning the house, making the meals, and having sex with their lovers and all that kind of stuff before their husbands get home. And you might think I'm joking. I'm not. That was another surprise statistic we found out.
Japan is actually very totally cool with affairs.
Nope.
But as long as they're with prostitutes.
Well, okay.
And you don't get it, and it doesn't come out in public. Like, if you keep it a secret, and you're fucking a prostitute, by and large, they're just sort of like, yeah, no, guys cheat. It's sort of the same thing in France. Actually, it's even more accepted in France than it is in Japan. It's weird, man.
Given Japan's intense work culture, the chances of the husbands, because they have to go all the way to work, they have to travel either through public transit or drive, and then they have to go all the way back. Sometimes you have to work overtime. Sometimes you have to. They get too exhausted, and sometimes they'll stay at the hotel. And there are times when people go like a month or so without seeing their wives, their significant others, because they can't make time. That's the. But
I've literally seen where they just go and ask a bunch of people and like a bunch of girls, like, what do you think about a guy cheating on you if it's with a sex worker? And they're like, well, I mean, at least it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
like, they're just like, well, it could be worse. It's like, I think he's falling in love with somebody else. He's just, getting rid of a physical thing. Well, it's like, Jesus Christ, there's so much more calm than in the U.S. Because the U.S. would be like, take all his fucking money, I'm going to fucking take the kids, I'm going to ruin his fucking life.
Well, in Japan, it's kind of because their culture's so different, because now they have women in the workplace as well. So if you have have them both going off to places of work and then coming home, and then if they do take time to have a kid, then you have the one guy going over there and coming back. But also, like, their divorces are just as high as anywhere else, except it seems to be on a different schedule. It seems to be once they have 5 kids, then they start getting divorced, and then like the last kid goes back and forth between the parents, because at that point. Well, because what they see at that point, like the kids they gone to school, they do whatever, and then they live their life. But then, like, because the husband is always away at work, he's almost never home. It's like they were already divorced to begin with.
Yeah.
But I think in Japan they have a lot more like they're more sensible in that they won't like take away half your income, that kind of stuff. They have a different system, because by then.
Well, and whatever it is, like, it works because they don't even get pissed off when the guy goes and sees a hooker, because honestly, like, I mean,
well, how can you? I mean, if you haven't seen your wife in over a month, I mean,
like, it's even crazier in France. They don't allow paternity tests.
Yeah,
like, because they're like, no, of course everybody's cheating, it's probably not your fucking kid, shut the fuck up and quit whining, we all got to take care of these kids together.
Well, and part of the problem with the kid thing is that because the parents are so separated, both mentally and physically, because of like either work or whatever else the conditions are, because sometimes the mother gets overwhelmed taking care of kids and
it's like 5 12-hour days is normal over there and shit. Like, it's insane the number of hours they work.
Yeah, it's they need a healthy a new like work-life balance, because
their work-life balance is way bad. Yeah, it's really fucking bad.
Well,
and if you go and take a vacation, you have to bring like consolation gifts back for all the people you work with. It's sort of like an apology for having gone on a vacation and not been working.
Yeah, well, I don't know how to solve that. Part of that is a carryover from like the 1990s when they had like a huge boom and everyone thought Japan was going to take over the world economically, and of course it had to crash. So. They've been trying to get back to that boom that they had back in the 90s, and that's why they work so hard and have the work culture. But it doesn't work that way, and as a result, their birth rate suffered. So they got stubborn when they really shouldn't have gotten stubborn. They should have had a more balanced lifestyle.
Stubbornness is basically the core value of Japanese culture over every other fucking potential option.
Well, and I was going to say that there's another problem in Japan that we don't always talk about. I was watching a documentary the other day talking about this, about the missing children that go on. And that's because when the parents are often away for whatever reason, like either the mom, because sometimes the moms become alcoholics, they start drinking and partying because the husband's away and they don't want to deal with it all. And then the husband's off at work, so you have a lot of kids who are just nothing to do, and they have to be de facto adults, and a lot of the kids can't deal with that either, and so a lot of kids tend to just run away. Some of them become homeless. Yeah, and then there's the teenage girl prostitution thing that's been going on, which is a scary shit that's happening.
Well, that's been a thing forever, though. Like, teenage girls over there have been going off and doing, like, sex work as, like, a part-time job for forever.
Yeah. It's a growing problem, and that's also a side effect of the work culture stuff. So and I remember like they even have a minister for loneliness, because Japan has a real loneliness epidemic. There's a guy who's I think made like $1 million, and all he does, he offers services just to have someone to hang out with for like an hour. It's like, I feel lonely, can you have a meal with me? Or whatever else, and
that's a whole industry.
That is a whole industry.
You can rent friends in Japan. It's a very real thing where you basically and it's not a sexual thing at all. Mm-hmm. You're just renting friends.
There are houses where you have people who do professional snuggling, like just someone that'll snuggle right next to you, maybe a little bit of pillow talk. Nothing has to be sexual. And it's insane that's how things.
Oh, that's like the maid cafes. Half of the reason the maid cafes are so big is because it's somebody being genuinely warm and kind to you.
Yep.
Well, not genuine.
Well, like when you were talking about people who work so hard that they never see their loved ones and no one gives them any real affection, it really wanes on them over time. It's like you can't really do that for forever. There has to be some sort of connection there. And I don't really know how they're going to fix that. I mean, it's been going on for so long, and a lot of the millennial generation in Japan is like the lost generation over there. I mean, you have people who are just shutting down, becoming what they call hikikomori. That's when they just sort of stay at home and they don't do anything. They like barely leave their house. They're too scared to go out anywhere. They just live on the computer.
So they're like the what is it? The
incels?
No, that's not. I fucking hate that word. That's not what I'm talking about either.
Sorry.
I'm talking about what is it? The agoraphobia.
Yeah, kind of like
they're
that.
Like agoraphobics, where they have an actual psychological disorder of being like afraid of going outside and dealing with real people in the real world. Yeah, that's kind of sad.
Yep, it's a real problem, and I know like one of the ministers in Japan was saying that like the population decline is the number one issue for Japan. It's like it doesn't matter about your age, it doesn't matter anything else. It's like if you don't have replacement levels, it's going to be really bad. And the other sad thing is like it's the same thing all over the world. Japan was just the one on everyone's radar because they kind of got hit the first.
Well, who's going to take care of all the old people if there's no young people?
Exactly. Now the one plus side is I am hearing like millennials in the Western world are now having kids. So, but I don't know if it's going to be enough because we had such a decline in the population and so many people got old. So it's sort of like
I think what's going to happen eventually is you're going to have a situation where old people have no sort of retirement thing. So people invite them to live in their houses as like caretakers and like like assisting with like home like tasks.
Maybe it might be.
Like you like the little old lady is losing her apartment down the street. She stays with you and does like your laundry and cooks dinner every night and watches the kids or something. It's not too hard, but you guys go and earn your money. Like I wouldn't be surprised if that's what ends up happening in that kind of Japanese culture.
recently there was all this information about the robots from Elon Musk, the Optimus
Oh yeah, they
robot.
weren't actually robots. They were all like remote controlled.
Well, maybe I don't know about that, but it
No,
is
they
something.
came out. They were all remote controlled. None of them were actually being run by AI. It was all.
Okay, well, it doesn't matter. I mean, the fact is that it is in development. Japan's been
Oh
working
yeah.
on this as well. The problem with Japan is that they decided we're going to make a bunch of little robots with individual tasks because it's better than just making an all-in-one robot that can do like everything because it's not really possible. So they have to do like individual little things,
Yeah,
which makes
yeah.
sense.
That makes I was gonna say that makes perfect sense.
But I don't know. Well, a lot of people don't really want robots, but it's what else can you do? No one's having kids, so it's gonna have to be robots. And then
Well,
what?
having a robot that can safely pick up and transfer somebody who's bedridden from one bed to another bed, or pick them up and hold them up so that they can be like bathed, so that somebody can like wipe them down with like disinfectant wipes or something. Like that's just smart. You know what I mean? Like that's just a smart idea.
I suppose, yeah. That actually reminds me. There's this. I actually started writing up a script for a movie that I was going to tackle this very topic. I should probably sit down and finish it one of these days. I have a road trip coming up, so I guess I'll have some time to write.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Dayquil, are you playing with birds?
No, is that picking up?
Yes. What is that?
Birds? Oh, shit.
It's like a
They're not
tweet.
close. I don't know how the fuck it's picking it up. Yeah, they're not anywhere remotely near me, dude. That's fucking weird.
That is weird.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're like across the street. Or in the yard next door.
Discord's filter must be prioritizing them for some reason.
I think it's because he hasn't been talking for a while, so it's probably thinking that, oh, this is what I need to focus on from this guy.
Could be, yeah, something like
Yeah.
that. Some reason or another, Discord's filter is prioritized. It's the only thing that makes sense, because
So in other words,
Yeah.
So in other
Yeah,
words,
instead of picking up, like, yeah, I can. There's no birds anywhere. I hear it, but barely.
well,
I
I
figured,
heard it.
this must be the ambient noise guy.
Sounds
Let's
about right.
focus on that bird chirping.
weird.
Weird. Well, I have to go to the bathroom, and I'm assuming
And it is
this
time
weekend-
for us to call it a day, so let's
All
Yeah,
right.
might as well call it.
That sounds
wrap
Thank you,
good to me.
it
everybody
up.
not watching. Bye bye.